I got my light and the lamp.
Right.
Did notice the first time I was on, it was a little darker, so I got a little extra
We
light
are
on.
live. Hey, well, hello everybody, and I appreciate you all being patient. I'm sorry I was running late. It always takes longer than I think it will to put all this together, but I just want to introduce myself. I'm Rebecca Benningfield with Nibiru Followers Anonymous, and I have Jesus Marquez with me. And tell me the name of your page again.
Is the Nibiru system is already here?
Nibiru system is already here.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. Well, that's what we're doing. We're going to be talking about the Nibiru system, our
Hello, everybody.
binary, yeah, our binary twin solar system. So, anyway, Jesus and I are going to be going over some of our favorite pictures, but I decided when I was working on this, it's impossible to pick favorites out of
It was
many
hard.
thousands.
It was hard going
So
through all
it's
that
not
stuff.
the favorites. We'll say that. Just some of our favorites, and we'll have many more favorite live episodes to talk about more pictures. But anyway, how are you doing today, Jesus?
I'm good after a busy day, and I'm. It's nice to be relaxing and talking about my favorite topics. So
I know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah, Jesus and I spent over 2 hours visiting last night. It was, we went live a week or so ago, but we hadn't visited on the phone ever until last night. And we discovered just how much we actually have in common and how much, you know, um, we're on the same page as far as our knowledge. He's like, um, so knowledgeable about photography. I didn't realize that, but you do have a lot of skill.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah,
I think it's a big part of all this is getting familiar with the camera because there's so many factors in the sunlight and what certain cameras will pick up and others won't. So it's been really interesting and fun, kind of tinkering with different cameras and different methods and that kind of stuff. So
right. See, I didn't know they even had the little lens that you can clip on your cell phone. I'm
yeah,
interested in one
yeah,
of
yeah,
those. You
yeah.
know,
That's been really fun
so
to have that.
I have to treat myself and get one. So
Yeah.
because
It's
that's what
very
I'm working
inexpensive.
with. I just
Just go to Amazon and it's very inexpensive. I think it's like $15, just for that lens, and it makes a big difference.
yeah, cool, cool. Well, yeah, I worked on lining up 10 pictures that Jesus sent me five, and then I put together five. Um, three of them are mine. The last two, I was running short on time, so I just started finding pictures that I thought were nice and good to talk about. So, but anyway, and one thing we did talk about last night, we have so many great ideas for future shows. I'm going to be changing our service over to where we can share video.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
because
It's
this
gonna be
right
fun.
now I'm not able to share video. I'm just able to share photos, and we both agreed how important, slow motion and time lapse videos
Yeah,
make all the difference in
yeah.
seeing these things.
I feel had I the time lapses were really instrumental in teaching myself how to see them better and how to understanding the whole, because it's all about the light. It's all about the light and how the light determines what you're going to see and what you're not going to see, and when you're going to see it and when you're not going to see it. And it's a big factor in all this. And I think had I had somebody related that to me when I was beginning, I might have got a little further, a little faster. It was a fun process, but I do feel sometimes people get a little impatient and want to learn a little faster. So that's kind of what we want to do here. It took us 6 years, and we're trying to teach what we learned, maybe just a little bit faster, than it took us.
Right, right. No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Um,
can get everybody on board with this because, guys, you are missing one hell of a show, and you got to get on board with this stuff. It's
yeah.
so cool. It's so interesting. And it's important to know, because as Sam was saying in your last interview, the world is having our planet is having a lot of changes, and it's good to be on top of that because it affects us all.
It does. I feel like I've said this before. I mean, to me, I have like a peace of mind, just knowing what's really happening. I mean, we can't stop
Yes,
what's happening.
yes.
I'm not
See,
worried.
the first, see, that's exactly what I was telling you last night on the phone. The first 2 years was anxiety, through the roof because I
Mhm.
knew something was going on, but I just
Yeah.
could not I could not figure it out. So, and the anxiety of knowing something, because I think we sense it. We sense it. I think a lot of people are sensing it too, but not knowing was driving me insane. Like not knowing what it was. When I came across Sam, it just brought me such peace of mind just to know, because it's important. I mean, it's a really important thing to understand and to know, because it's part of our everyday lives.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much, you know, mis and disinformation
Absolutely,
that
absolutely.
causes fear in people, like, or
Yeah,
they'll set dates, date after date will be set, and then nothing happens, and
yeah.
it causes
And then when
anxiety
nothing
in
happens,
people.
it just turns people away, and it keeps people from learning anymore, because they're like, oh, it's just another crazy Nibiru day. And I hate when people do, oh, a certain thing is going to happen on a certain day. The thing is, we don't know. Nobody knows. Even the people up there who have a better view of it don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm sure there's some things could be predicted. If you have a bird's eye view, so to speak. But ultimately, nobody knows. If anything's gonna happen, and won't, much less when.
Right. That's what we were talking about last night. I mean, it could be mild or it could be,
Yeah.
very destructive, but it's
I
just
mean,
kind of a wait
history.
and see.
Our history has shown, very dramatic and things to have happened. But as we have said, this cycle has been so far, not as destructive, but I still think we're at the halfway point. But I still think it's be left to say, because as we hit that halfway point, most of the asteroids and debris are underneath them and behind them. I think Sam was saying that Yuri's most of Yuri's salamander group, which is wormwood, as wormwood um, uh, are behind Yuri, are underneath Yuri and behind. You know, so
Okay.
as they pass Earth, that might be something to be paying attention to.
Right. Right. Which Sam has said that the salamander asteroid group is wormwood. A lot of people are looking for wormwood, and that's where to look, to the left of our suns, because that's where this specific asteroid field group associated with the planet Uri is located. So that's, if you look to the left of our suns, and didn't he say that it was starting to pass above us, above
Yeah.
Uri and the field? So if you're looking for wormwood, that's the direction you can look. We know right where it is.
Excuse me.
So,
And
but
it is some
when you look and
crazy, crazy looking asteroids. I mean, crazy looking asteroids. Like
crazy,
nothing you. I think salamander is just a very accurate depiction of it, because they are just weird,
yeah,
weirdly shaped. I wanted to ask Sam why they might have these weird shapes to them, but I'm sure that's a question that's beyond any of us.
right, right, right. I thought I could pull up a picture just really quickly to give our viewers a visualization of what we're talking about. So far, we have 13 um, people watching. So thank you all for being here.
Well,
And
for
again,
being here.
Yeah, I apologize for.
Thank you for being patient.
Yes.
This is still a learning process. So, it'll get better, but, thanks for bearing with us. It's
Right. It is a process. I'm still figuring things out on the computer, and I have, different barriers that slow me down as far as technical things. So, but I was going to say, I do see Stevie Williams. He's commented a couple of times. Hey, Stevie.
oh,
And he
Stevie.
says, let's see, this is what he says. Stevie says, mankind will seem strange in these times as we walk between worlds. Yeah, I think I understand what he's saying. I mean, strange as in,
Well, you
what do
know,
you
uh, we're affected so much just by
Uh-huh.
this moon and these moons, these extra moons that are passing by us, and I mean, we it makes us act a little strange. I mean, I think you could see the world how strange it's become. You know, people's behaviors a little off. So
Right. And you're right. There's all kinds of,
well, it's my interpretation of what he was saying.
that's what I'm thinking too, is how it
I
affects
don't know if you had
us.
a different thing to add to that, but
Right, right. Yeah. And we have Rebecca Stallard. Hi, Rebecca. Another Rebecca.
Austin.
Yep. But we have, like I said, 13 viewers at the moment. I might give it just a couple more minutes before we start looking. I was going to show the pictures of those asteroids real quick. Like, for instance, something like that. That's just, like you said, strange. It's not just a regular cloud, that's for sure.
Yes, and this is what I want to point out is that everybody's on this whole all I see is clouds. Okay, you have to think about this. Okay, so they're passing by Earth. Earth is 70% water. Okay, anything passing over us is going to get cloudy. It's going to get and also these planets have their own atmosphere as well. But I think the effects of passing through us, I pay attention a lot to the clouds, and I visualize the clouds as they leave a streak when the planets are passing over us. They
Yeah.
leave these streaks, and I visualize it like water, almost like water. Only clouds. If you would run a ball over the top of water, you will see there's going to leave a streak. It's the same thing that clouds do. It's literally almost like a water thing as it's dragging across. It's going to leave us this trail behind it, and that's how I visualize it in my head.
Right, right.
But it is important to know that these asteroids sometimes are obvious, and other times are going to be encased in clouds. Kind of like this one we're seeing here. I think this what the
Right.
big
I was looking to see if I could have others that were similar. It shows
See,
me up
this
to a
is
certain
what
point.
this is what mainstream media calls lenticular clouds. And don't be fooled by these terms that people are bringing up. About
Oh,
lenticular.
right. Yeah, that's the
A lot of
truth.
it is rotating asteroids right above us that may have this
Like,
effect.
there's an asteroid.
That's
I
very
mean,
possible.
it's just pretty obvious. Right there it is. So, and this is one of the typical sizes for asteroids. That's a little bigger. But this was one of my favorites. You see me.
Yes,
I
yes.
share that so much. But yeah, that's the leading asteroid. So you
And
can
see,
see how
as it orbits towards the sunlight, you'll see that illumination. The further it is away from the sunlight, it's darker. As it comes in, you'll
yeah,
notice it starts illuminating. That's why timing is everything when you're looking at these things. The illumination, the light, it's everything.
and it's fleeting. Like you'll see it for just a few seconds
And
or
it's very
minutes.
quick. Yes, it's
Yeah,
very,
and then
very
it's
quick,
gone.
very brief. Sometimes you'll have these planet passings, they'll take 20, 30 minutes, sometimes a little longer, but most things are come and go. Most of my time lapses, you're looking at 20, 30 minutes tops. Sometimes
Right.
even less than that, you know. You could have a whole planet passing right on the side of you in 15, 20 minutes time, and it's gone. Before you know it, it's clear skies. You'll notice a bunch of you'll notice how it kicks up. It's almost like again, I visualize like it's kicking up dust, you know, as it's passing us, and then
Yeah.
bam, you know, and then bam, it's just it's gone, you know, just as fast as it comes. So timing is everything, you know. Anticipation. It's a game of anticipation, and that's why I get so excited about it because you anticipate it and you see it coming, and then right when it's there, you get that perfect shot. And those are
Right.
the moments that I just kind of live for. That are just so fun to do for me.
It's true. I totally know.
This one on the left is just wow, just absolutely. I mean, that is one exact match. That is both of them, but I mean, this one on the
I
left,
know.
I thought it was just absolutely insane.
It
That
really is.
is a crazy shot.
It's it's hard to believe, that that's what you're seeing, but there's no other reason, why we'd see circles, that match a
Yeah.
man's drawing that was drawn years ago.
Yes.
It fits together perfectly every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And again, like we said in previous we've said previously, this is very repetitive. You know, this is very very repetitive. You know,
right.
if you know what to look for, once you know what to look for, and once you learn how things look and what to look for and what doesn't belong in the skies, that's kind of what it gets me. Like, what gets my attention when I'm out there is something that just doesn't belong there. That just does not belong there, and it's moving a little consistently, you know. And then I know something is about to happen. Sometimes you can predict it, and sometimes it just comes down out of nowhere, and just like that, it's gone. But a lot of times you can anticipate it if you know what to look for.
Yeah, right. Checking
Also,
the.
here on the left, look how the darkness, because you have sunlight coming from the opposite side, the other side of these three. I mean, it's on my left. I don't know how it would be for
It
everybody.
is.
It is on the left. Okay. But you can see how it's dark on one side, right?
Yeah.
If it was just a cloud, it wouldn't do that. And this is probably an evening or sunrise. I'm guessing an evening is what my guess would be.
That'd be my guess too. It's sunset.
This one the one on the right is probably midday. Midday is when things just blend in blue.
I agree. Yeah, at midday, it starts off sunrise, more
Sunrise
like.
is my favorite time.
Oh, it is.
Yes,
You
yes.
okay? What makes it your special time?
Um, because unlike the afternoon, okay, so you have these illuminations that start out really dark, and then as the sun comes up, one of my last videos was one of these time lapse where it was a sunrise. And in fact, I had gone live that day too, but it starts dim, and you could only see the shape at first, and then as the sunlight starts coming up and angling up at the bottom of it, you have to think, okay, so it's us and then another planet here and the sun behind, right? So as our angle views the sun that starts creeping up in the middle of them. I don't know if I'm making any. Okay, so you know you see the sunlight in between these two planets, and it starts shining
Uh-huh.
on their bottom, on their belly, basically. And the light bends around and gives you a little bit of a facial illumination that doesn't last very long, but it is just the most amazing thing. And I really do feel, you know, sunsets are cool, but for me, sunrises are always the best.
Okay. I
And also because things are quiet and there's really very little activity, really little light pollution. So that's another one of the reasons why I like sunrises, because everything is calm and there's not much noise and people are still kind of asleep. So that really plays a big deal too. So I feel like I have the skies all to myself.
yeah, I can understand that. I used to take somebody to work every morning, and I was out at 7:30 every morning, and I kind of miss that now. I don't do that any longer, but I used to get the best pictures, so I can understand what you're saying.
I've
Really,
always been a bit of a night owl, so I stay late, and then I'll come home from work around 5 a.m., sometimes 6, depending on what day of work it is. But sometimes I'll just stay up, and if I see something interesting, I'll know to stay up, and I'll stay a couple of hours, and I'll get my cameras ready. I'll charge the batteries, make sure I don't have a dead battery, all that stuff, and then
yes,
I'll set it up, and then I'll set up my time lapse camera, and then I'll take my phone camera and start snapping pictures. And because I do like to do different formats, because as I said before, every time I use the wide angle lens, I get a lot of crap about it. So what I did now is I like to record in both formats. That way, when somebody starts saying, "Oh, well, that's a fisheye lens," I could say, "Hey, look at this. This is normal. This is a normal lens here." So I can,
yeah,
so I can shut them up, because I get that a lot,
I
And
yeah
I think
I
it's been pushed on it a lot, the wide angle lens, because if you understand how big things are, you understand why a wide angle lens is great for seeing this stuff. Here, the Mexican webcams, this is why they took them offline. They did in their format was in wide angle, and it was the coolest videos were captured on that
yeah
before they cut it off. I
yeah
hate that they cut them off, because they were so cool. They had the coolest wide angle views, and it was just, if you paid attention to them, you could see some really cool stuff.
that was a few years ago. Because are you talking about the um, channel on YouTube, Mexico D webcams?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was watching too. And
That's where I
now,
did. That's where I did most of my learning, and then
yeah,
they got cut off, and I started making my own time lapses, and I just absolutely got hooked on it, because it's
right.
so fun. It's so fun just recording, letting it record, and then go back, and then tinkering with the video and seeing, how you can, maybe tone down a little bit of the sunlight, and kind of tinker with it, and kind of make it a little bit more obvious.
Right. Yeah,
It's
those
so
were the days.
fun. I love doing that.
I know now all they show is volcanoes. When you do check
Yeah,
it, it's
yeah.
just videos of volcanoes, and that is it. It's really not much to see in those. But you
We saw
can.
some very cool one. Remember that one? And you often show that video, where it shows the Saturn's yellow moon, and it's clear. It's a
Yeah.
yellow shape, and there's a few other ones in front of it. But I got to see that one live. It was actually live a few
Wow.
years ago. That webcam where it showed those planets. I wish I don't know. It's a webcam of the Saturn's yellow moon. It's a very obvious
I
circle.
think. Let me look and see. I may have it. I mean, I'm pretty sure I do. Let's look real fast. I pulled.
It is really rare to catch it to catch
Yeah.
them
Is that
that
it? Is
that
that one
one.
it?
Yeah. I saw that one live on the webcam, and I was in complete shock. I was like, how is this going live right now, and nobody's
And
freaking out,
nobody's. Yeah.
no, it's not making the news. This went on for like 20-30 minutes, this webcam, probably longer.
Yeah.
And
Wow. I would love to
nobody
have seen that.
nobody nobody batted an eye. It never I was like, maybe we'll see this on the news. No, absolutely not. But I remember this one live perfectly well, and it was more than one. You could see one there, but there's another one in front that's a little bit more illuminated.
Okay.
But there was more than one in this one, in those 20-30 minutes that transpired during this event. I was just absolutely floored to that it didn't go viral, or make the news or
Yeah.
something, because it was the coolest thing.
I wonder. Yeah, they would just make something up to explain it away.
Yeah, yeah, gases, swamp gases, and they angled off of swamp water,
I
and
know. Anything.
something stupid.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you were saying last night, for a lot of people, if it's on TV, it takes a certain element of fear away, and it takes a certain element like, oh, it's explained away. As I was saying, there's a lot of people that if the TV doesn't tell you what's happening, they won't believe it.
That's true.
We have to get past that, guys. We have to get past that. We have to teach ourselves and be self-taught, because they're not going to say it. They're not going to come out with this publicly. They will not do it. You will have to learn this on your own, because if you're expecting disclosure, it's not going to happen. It's not.
Never. They're not going to just change their mind and go ahead and tell us,
no,
about this. Never. Or the next group of people.
Short of them having to, where something happens where they have no choice. But if it's something like this, they'll explain it away, and that's it,
That's true. I would never expect it either. So, all right, close this out. Let me check the comment section real quick. See who's with us. We got a good crowd. We got 21 people at the moment.
Oh, nice.
I see Katina Birdcage. Hi, Katina.
Hello, Katina.
And I'm not sure. It says Facebook user, but they're saying hi, JD. Not sure.
Is that
that person is here.
Maybe that's JD. If that's JD, cool. Nice to see you.
Oh, maybe it is saying it's hi, it's JD. Maybe it is JD.
Yeah, maybe it's JD. Yeah.
It doesn't show me their name on some of these, so unfortunately I don't know. We got Misty World.
Hello,
we
Misty.
have Michelle Mountain with us.
Hello,
and she's
Michelle.
always got this, super sweet messages and comments. She says, hello, beautiful souls. This is the Great Awakening. We are soon to be part of our intergalactic Star Trek reality in a bright and abundant future.
I like that.
So,
that's the kind of energy that we want to put out.
Exactly. I'm with you on that.
Be prepared, be aware, but also, keep being positive and keep living your life. That's
right. And enjoy the time. I mean, if something is going to happen, enjoy the time you have left.
Yes.
Don't spend that time negative and sad and depressed.
Yes,
you can avoid it.
That's not going to take you anywhere.
Right.
I mean, what is the point? All we can do is be informed. That's the whole point of this.
Right.
And I want to say that our world, our solar system is a lot more like Star Trek than most want to think. Absolute programming.
That's there. Right. Isn't that funny? It's kind of ironic, really.
Yeah.
It really is.
It really is.
Yeah. We have Wendy. Hi, Wendy Williams.
Absolutely beautiful, that sunrise. Yes, you're right, Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Nice to see you.
Yeah, right. Let's see. A few more that say Facebook user. I have no idea who they are, unfortunately, but I'm happy you all are here still.
Yeah.
So, and this person says, can you send me that one, boss lady? It's like right on the tip of my tongue. I know who it is, but I can't think of your name. Tell me your. Well, you can't. Well, yeah, you can. Go in the comments and type your name, and I'm going to make a note. I'm pretty sure you're wanting that one we were just talking about with the Ice Adams Yellow Moon. That's the best one. I know, it's super great. So, but in the comments, if you would. Willie, that's right. I knew boss lady. I was like, I know there's one person that calls me that. It's Willie. Okay. Yeah. Let me make a note, Willie. Okay. We're going to do that yellow moon picture. Cool. All right. Yes. I'll send it here after we do this. So cool. All right. Well, I figured we'll go ahead and start our little presentation. I put this together very quickly, you guys. We both have had busy days, and we didn't think about doing this till like midnight last night. So I haven't had much time to work on this, but it's good enough. It's good to show you all some examples and give us some things to talk about. So, all right, let me go ahead with the special effects. Soon we're going to have video access, so then it will be even
That'll
more
be cool.
exciting.
That'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, so I believe the first picture I'm alternating back and forth between pics that Jesus sent me and pics that I selected, and let me think. Go ahead and tell me when you want me to progress to the next pic. I'll just progress as you're talking, I guess. We'll come up with a system as we go. And I was going to say this, they're not in any particular order. It's not like number 1 is better than 10. It's not that way at all. It's just an order and they're just pictures. So it's like that. So, okay, let's start with this one. This is from Jesus. So you go ahead, Jesus.
This one, it's so rare to catch them this way. Okay, very rare. This was here in Salt Lake. I noticed this as I was driving home. Again, I pulled out my phone and in disbelief, I'm like, or is somebody watching this? Is somebody seeing this? I have video to this. Unfortunately, we can't put the video, but I actually have video as well.
Soon.
Guys, I have, somebody told me, and I think it was just somebody trolling me, but somebody said that this was just a cloud. Come on, people, come on. Let's get serious. Look at the stripes here. Look at the stripes. Okay, here it is in real color. Okay, and notice the streak. We talked about this. This is the whole purpose of the streak, for you to pay focus attention on the streak and not what's behind the streak. Okay, we got to get past these. I don't want to mention the name because we're a little sensitive about talking about this because it gets us flagged. But I heard somebody recently refer to it as plain P, which I thought was hysterical. But this is the reason why I'm trying to point it in my phone. But this is the reason why for the trails, just to kind of, there's always in most of my captures, there'll always be a stupid one right across the middle of it. Look past that. Whenever you see things, when I look at them, I'm like, something's coming. When I see that something, look behind them, get past them. And this was a very interesting one. This is a very close pass of the lead object. If you look at the back end of it, it looks like there's a piece that's actually broken off of it. Also, I want to point out that you're seeing that one because it's in the path of the light. There's more behind it. I don't know if it's a planet. I think you were talking maybe it's a Saturn behind it, but it's still in shadow. This one's a little closer to the path of the light, so it's illuminated. These illuminations are very rare. This one was midday, and this one was facing east, so it was right indirectly as the sun was moving west. This was in the east, so it had the illumination coming from behind, and it's the only reason why it was illuminated that way. It's very rare, very, very rare. But now as they pass Earth, this is what's going to happen. We're not gonna see him so much coming in from the southwest. We're going to see them passing Earth, and we're going to see a little bit more illuminations. So it's going to be important to kind of pay attention to that, guys, because as they pass Earth, if anything is going to happen, it's going to be when they pass Earth. And also, it's going to be some really cool illumination. So stay tuned for that and pay attention to that.
Right. Here's a couple of more examples. As you can see, I always call it that signature striped effect. I have more for another picture you'll see in a minute, but you can see over and over again. I wish y'all could see my cursor. I didn't know till later. You can't see what I'm pointing at, so that's unfortunate. But if you look to the right-hand side, especially on that right-hand picture, you can see the stripes are just like Samuel Hofman draws them. It's so perfect every time.
Yes.
It's like when
I've seen one that's literally mirrors that drawing. I did a post. I don't know where that picture is. You labeled it once a while back, but it is literally the same. I mean, both of these ones right here, you could just see how
It is.
they're coming in at an angle, just like he has them drawn there. And I think that is so cool. It's so
Yeah.
accurate.
I
But we
it,
have seen these stripes on the view object. So anytime you see, well, a lot of these planets, the bigger planets have stripes. Uri has stripes.
I
Atu
know.
has stripes. When seen from a distance, Atu actually has stripes on it too. So
Yeah, that's what I was telling Alan. He was like, he saw stripes and he thought Nepicity, because that has really prevalent stripes.
it
But
does.
I said,
It does.
really? I said, they all
They
have
all do. They all
stripes.
do.
They all either sideways stripes, vertical
Yeah.
stripes. Uh,
I think when opacity, it's as it's coming closer, it has a stripe effect
yeah,
from the clouds that it puts out. But they all have a very striped effect.
right. All right. So in case I don't know if everybody heard, but what we've been talking about is the leading asteroid. I don't know if we ever really clarified, but that's what this is. Jesus's picture here that been talking about, that's an asteroid. It's hard to believe that's what it is, but
Those are the Wasatch Mountains. If you ever look up Salt Lake City, look at the Wasatch Mountains. It's a very big mountain range. It's about
really,
7,000, 8,000 feet up. Some peaks up to like 9,000 feet. This is right above it. It was the coolest shot, but if you didn't know any better, you would really miss this. I mean, look, it blends in very well with the sky. It got my attention because we have trained our eyes over the years what to look for, but your average person would have totally missed this because it's blue and because it blends in very well. It blends in very well. This is why people are missing it, guys. Remember, our atmosphere, it is blue. Everything, our whole our atmosphere is blue. We see blue skies, and they have an atmosphere as well. So we're gonna see the closer they get, if they have really blue, especially if you've seen it midday. This was midday in June. This was in June, so it was really summer, and it was a really hot summer last year. This was well, not last year. This was, I'm guessing, I think 2020 actually, 2020, 2021. I'm not pretty sure it's
okay.
2020. So it was, people were focused on other things that year. So and they still are. But this was somebody told me that this is a man-made object. I'm like, the size it would have to be. Like, this is huge. This is enormous because the mountain range, and you can see it in a lot of my videos. The mountain range, I'm sure it's in some of my videos. This is huge. This would
Right.
make our moon probably dwarf our moon. This is a very big object.
Yeah. Yeah, it blows me away, especially, like I said, I have other pictures of the lead object lined up here, and you'll see in a minute, but how just massive it is, But
It was,
when you see it, and it got many, 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 captures of it. It's not just once in a while; it's
yeah,
just all
yeah,
the time, really.
yeah. This is one of my favorites because I feel it's one of those ones that I want to think is it's just not something that somebody could pass off as a cloud, even though some have gotten there. But come on, like I said,
Yeah, not as
let's get
brightly.
realistic, people. This does not belong in our sky. I mean, it's not common in our skies. This is not
No,
what we grew up with. This is not. This is not. Our moon. This is not some one of our planets. This is from the Nibiru system. This is a lead object, and in my opinion, just judging from the stripes, maybe iron, maybe some kind of metal, kind of, you know, um, who knows? But that's
right,
kind of because it does have kind of a reflective look to it.
right. I was looking at this. Where was it? Bear with me a second. I'll go back to this one a second. We were just talking about it. Let's see. Oh, that one. To me, that looks like
Yes,
metallic in a
that is
way. I mean, there's no way of
that is a
knowing,
that is
but
a match right there. You can see
uh
the
huh.
same. the same texture, only this one is a little bit more distant, so you don't see the detail. You know, it's a little bit distant, a little bit smaller, so you don't really see as much detail, but you can see that it's reflective just the same way. And a good way to see when something is real or something isn't, in just the way that it's illuminated. If you have the side that's closest to the sun is going to be more illuminated, and more to the left of that it's going to be darker because you're looking at a
Right.
round object, right? So the front of it, if you see something round that's illuminated the opposite way, then you know it's a lens flare, you know that it doesn't belong, or it's not real, or it's Photoshop. But here it is illuminated exactly as you would expect it to be. It's brighter on the right, on the closest to the sun, and it gets a little dimmer as it goes to the left.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, it
Yeah.
is a round object. Light bends, it'll bend around, and this is behind, okay? And as it bends around it, it's gonna illuminate more. The further it gets around it, it's gonna go darker. So it's gonna illuminate very prevalent in the front. And here you can see it perfectly well. The left of it is the left of it is
Sorry.
more it is shining brighter than the rest of it. So you're always going to see night and day, guys. We're going to see one side of that. This is why we have night and day on Earth. On one side is going to be dark, whatever's facing the sun. It's going to be brighter, and the rest is going to be in darkness. Night and day. Basically, think of it like that. Think of it as a night and day face.
What time of day again was this picture that you
This
took?
one was midday. This one must have been 3-4 p.m. This was in the afternoon.
Okay.
It was still sun was it was 2 p.m., 3 p.m. latest. But it was pretty much in the afternoon.
East, which is if it's
It was east. It was east.
like in the east at 2, 3 in the
Yes,
afternoon.
like 2:30 in the afternoon.
It's the vicinity for Atu's moon, Uri, asteroids.
Mhm.
That all is left of our sun, and so yeah, and the lead object can be spotted on either side of our sun. It's not specific one or the other. So
Yes.
something else to know.
And just remember, guys, that it's not. I mean, we're you got to forget about the dinner plate model. We're tracking behind the sun. We're playing catch up to the sun, basically. You have posted that video of how it's more like
Yes.
a vortex. We are traveling to virgin space behind the sun. We're twirling basically behind the sun. So it's not really the sun is just moving forward, and we're the ones catching up. So there's a lot of things at play here. There's orbitation, there's rotation, orbitation, and then everything is just there's so much things at play here, guys. So this is why things are so brief, because we're orbiting as well as we are rotating too. So things could be a little tricky.
To me, it looks like the inside of a clock in a way. It's like a clockwork, and how perfectly everything just nothing like crashes into each other. It's just like perfectly synchronized.
Yes.
Really it is. It's really
and everything has. I mean, these solar systems have. They last for millions of years, so they're more or less pretty stable, and it's
right.
Things that are cyclic, and they happen for millions of years. These planets come close to us every 3,000 years, and they have been doing this for as far as Earth has been here, as far as our galaxy, as far as our solar system has been around. This has been happening,
right.
After it got stable, and planets and all that came together. But this has been happening because it's very cyclic, and things out there, this whole rogue planet thing, there's I don't know about that, but everything is in a perfect balance. Everything happens over and over again. So again, it's very learnable because it's so repetitive.
That's how you learn, though, because you've seen it before. It's like over time you'll get to where, yes, I know I've seen this before, and then so
you'll notice the patterns. You'll pick up on the patterns because you'll see them over and over again.
Yeah, right.
All right. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay, here we go. Here's one that I picked out. the first picture, I went straight to it. I knew right where it was. My photos are not as organized as I wish they were, but I'm trying to maintain mine and many other people's photos in a, I don't know. Anyway, I need to go through and try to find more of my favorites for shows like this. But here's one, okay? And I'm going to ask our listeners, I'm going to look at the comment section and just see if anybody knows, can tell me what this is. I'm sure you've seen it before, but it's one that I took, back in December of 2018. And it was very cold. I was at a red light, and I reached out the passenger window and started snapping pictures and took a small video. And this is what I got.
This is what I got. This is the coolest picture ever.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And you know what, Jesus? Probably, let's see, that was December 2018, 19. It probably 2 years. It took me 2 more years to actually understand what this was. I'm not kidding you.
I believe I remember you posting this, and I don't think I was really seeing it then either.
Yeah. And I didn't know what it was. Sam said what it was, and I couldn't see it, which is kind of a joke. I mean, it's not a joke. It's actually, he really said what it was. I couldn't see it, but now I'm just like, I couldn't believe I couldn't see it. But does anybody in the comment section want to take a guess what we're seeing here in this picture? And we have 31 viewers at the moment. It's one of our higher crowds. So I honestly, I was telling Jesus last night, I was just pumped up, and I'm like, this is going to blow up. It just is, because I didn't tell you this, Jesus, but I checked on TikTok, and in the last 3 weeks, it's grown almost 7,000 followers. That's 350 new followers a day.
Wow, that's great.
That's really.
And you're not even doing live. And you're not even doing lives right now.
No, I'm not doing lives on TikTok. It's just from video. Mm-hmm. That's so great. I mean,
because I know the lives really get people going lives. So yeah, I can't wait till you get out of TikTok jail. That's going to be very nice.
That happened yesterday, right? That happened yesterday. So the next time, I'm not able to stream on TikTok yet. I'm going to figure that out. But when I always wait for a cool cloud day, and I run up to the field and hop on TikTok and go live, So
yeah, we have to get this out there, guys. We have been. I mean, Sam has been doing this since they were coming in, and we have to. Yeah, we have to get this going. We have to get people on board here.
Yeah.
We have to share this.
The more that knows, the better. It really is.
Yeah.
Because they deserve to know the truth.
I was very reluctant to go public with this, but you don't have to. Sharing doesn't require anybody to go too public. So, it'd be just try to share, and kind of get this information out there, because it's important, and it affects us all.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's look at the answers here. I see several answers, and I see one answer that really sticks out as being really accurate. And I don't know who it is. It's Facebook user. But they said it must be Nibiru, Ice Atom, Yellow Moon. They are right, because of the location. We know by the location that always, until Sam shows us otherwise, and it does change every few years. It does change on the right-hand side of our sun, but for several years now, to the right of our sun, it's Ice Atom's moon, Ice Atom, Nibiru.
And also, you can tell it's Nibiru taking up the entire freaking.
Yeah, because it's so big and blue.
I mean, this is just like the beginning of its curve. That's crazy. That is enormous thing. So you could see that most of it is, Saturn's in there somewhere, but most of that picture is Nibiru, and that is crazy, because it is.
It is.
Look at that curve. Look at that curve. It is exactly as it's in the drawing. It's wow. That's great.
And like I said, for 2 years, I sat on this picture, not realizing how special it really is.
Yeah.
You know, to me, at least, I love it. So it's one of my
Your
favorites.
aha moment picture. Look at also, guys. Look at how it's blocking the sun. How some would say, oh, it's just clouds covering the sun, but it wouldn't completely block out the sun that way if it was just clouds. Clouds are just vapor. They're just, it's not a solid object, right? The only thing that would block something entirely that way is something solid, something,
Hmm.
that isn't vapor as most of
Yeah.
our clouds are.
Right. That's what I was looking at too, is, the sunlight, how it just, it's there, but it's also smashed and
Yes, and
straight
that's why
across.
we have funky. Why we see the light so odd, because these things do block it at times. Sometimes completely, other times momentarily, but um, they will completely block out the sun. And no, it doesn't really cause an eclipse because it's different than your average eclipse, because they're big and they reflect light, so we don't go into complete darkness, although I'm not saying that won't happen, but it's not something that's common. It's not going to completely block our
Right.
sunlight. It'll reflect. Sunlight will always bend around any object, and then it'll reach us, or it'll be reflected to us. It's sometimes that's why you feel that the sunlight is just a little bit stronger than other days, because it's getting reflected off another object. And I've noticed how there's days where there's planets around or whatnot, and the light, you can't even look up at the sky, because there's
Right.
so much light reflection that it just hurts your eyes so badly. It's because
And
so
it's
much sunlight is just getting refracted, and bounced back from these other objects.
what I
That is
notice is
that is
it's
cool right
steaming
there.
my
That is
skin. The sun will be like, so like burning your skin. Like the air can be semi cool, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sunlight is burning.
And Atu's moon. So I think a lot of these, like Atu's, most moons will make it cold. I've had some very close passes from Atu's moon, and the temperatures are dropped 30, 40 degrees in a matter of minutes. You know,
Yeah, I
I
totally
love these pictures of Nibiru. I absolutely love
do
these.
too.
They are
I do
the
too.
coolest. They are the coolest pictures. I
Right.
I,
We
I
have,
love the cloud. How it almost looks like they're connecting down to Earth from there. See these clouds right here, guys. They're not our clouds. Those are clouds on Nibiru, and this is why I think people get confused a lot. They see clouds and they assume they're just our clouds, but they fail to see what's behind that. These clouds, they're not even in our atmosphere. They're way out. Way up there on Nibiru. They're not even part of our
yeah.
atmosphere.
I think I know who it is now. It looks like it was a fawn. A
Hey,
fawn was the one
nice to
that
see you here.
correctly guessed. Not
Uh,
even guessed. He knew.
yeah,
Obviously, he
very,
knew.
very
He's
good. Very one of our
Yeah.
best students so far. Very, very good.
Right. Yeah, he's one of, for those that don't know, he's one of our moderators in our Facebook group. So, and we definitely have to get a fawn on here because he lives in Maldives and he has, like this balcony view. So he gets the
Yeah,
best views over the
yeah.
ocean.
He's
He
been
has,
doing he's been doing some pretty cool time lapses too.
yes,
He's had a few
that,
cool time
yes,
lapses.
it's, you're right. You're right. There's one of Atu's moon that's really special.
But
I'm
here,
going to use
look,
it.
yes, that one with that moon was very cool. But I want to
Uh-huh.
point out here too, guys. Look how repetitive this is. These are two different shots, right? They're different. They're different
Right.
dates, right? Look at how similar they are, and look at how the
And
cloud, it has that connecting cloud look on both of them, almost like it's connecting down to Earth or God knows where. I don't know. It's hard to judge the distance sometimes, but you see that same cloud effect on both sides, on the bottom of it, how it's almost connecting to something below it. That is so cool. That is what I mean about how it's so repetitive. You know, these cloud effects. Everyone has a certain cloud effect, guys. As it passes Earth, as it comes close, everything will have its own cloud effect, and there's very repetitive. You know, Nepacity has its snorkel cloud. We have Atu has its or wait, is it no, not Atu has a snail foot, right?
Right,
And
right, right.
and Nepacity has that crazy almost ring thing going on in the bottom sometimes, which is just insane. I think Nepacity is just so photogenic when it comes close. It's such a cool planet.
Very.
They all have a very cool effect as they come close, you know. But they all have very distinct ones, guys. Go up, you know, into the files, and they'll tell you what each one has. You know, each one it'll show you what the effect of each planet is, and it's very very repetitive.
Yeah. No, this I was gonna say this top picture was from this year, 2023. So, you know, over 10 years apart, 12 years
Years apart, and the
apart.
pretty much the exact same
And it's
cloud.
just like
That's
this one
insane.
here too. I mean, the bottom left is mine, and
Yeah,
then these other two.
look at that. It's
So
you can have one cloud formation, you know, in one place and the same thing in another, you know, thousands of miles away, and just call it a cloud. No, it's clouds. You know, they don't replicate that way. Planets do. You know,
right.
but yeah, very cool Nibiru shot. I always liked that one. And it's also one of the ones that really helped me understand. This is one of the pictures that really gets you an idea of just how big things really are. You know, when we use this word sky filler, that's exactly what we mean. Like these things will fill.
They really do. It's not just, you know, for to make things more exciting sounding or something. I mean, they
No,
really
no,
are that
literally,
massive. Yeah,
literally. Yeah.
it's crazy. You would never expect that to be. So we have a question from Rebecca Stallard, and she is asking, where is the Texas cube located? Um, I mean, normally it's to the left of our sun, under Atu's moon.
So at Tu's moon, you'll see the cube in Atu's moon,
Right,
and Isatum, which is on the right side of the sun, you'll see the long box cube.
right, the long
But I, but
box.
I, but I, I feel like the cube is a little bit more visible and more commonly seen than the long box.
Right, right. And it tends to. I was just thinking. I don't believe I've ever or recently. I mean, maybe at some point it switches sides, but um,
As of now, that's
I was
what
gonna
it
say
is.
I don't see the Texas cube on the right hand side of our sun.
No,
So look
left. You know, Texas cube left hand and long box right hand, right side of the sun.
right. Cool. Thanks, Rebecca. Okay. And we have a nice comment here from a Facebook user. I wish you would show us who they were, put your profile pic up and stuff. But we just got a nice compliment thanking us. So
Well,
I'm happy we're able to do this. So you're welcome.
absolutely, absolutely.
I,
Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. You know,
right. I mean, it's kind of cool because, I mean, it's like our own little show, you know, our show for our group. Yeah.
this is
It
awesome.
is. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's a way where we can all communicate even on a deeper level, you know, and interact and
It's
see
such a
each
it adds,
other.
it adds such a personal touch to all this, you know, because
Right.
up until now, everybody's just, it feels like everybody's just been like hypothetical, like, or it's just so, you know, Sam was saying, it's so nice to see, you know, it's so nice to connect this way. It's just so, it was really nice. You know, Jillian was on the other day, and it was really nice to see her. I love
Yeah,
her accent. I love her
I do
accent.
too.
Yeah, I've spoken to her once on the phone, once or twice.
Yeah.
Um, Once I did dial her by accident and ended up talking to her for about
Right.
20 minutes. Back then, I was even more shy with this whole thing, and but yeah, she's been with us for forever. It was really nice to see her willing to come on. You know.
Right.
Because I know this is a very this is one of those topics that people get ridiculed a lot for, guys. But I mean, look at the evidence. Look at the evidence. The evidence speaks for itself. Again, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't seen this over and over again. I wouldn't be here. I would have not. I would not be pushing this information if I didn't. If I hadn't proven it to myself over and over again.
That's why we're here. That's what we were talking about last night. Is like that's why we're able to set aside our shyness because hey, Jesus and I both have, it's used to be more shy than this, honestly.
This is very new to us.
But we're so confident in what we're talking about, and we want others to know.
But also, it was a really good reaction from everybody. We got a really good. The turnout was pretty good, and I think people are responding to it very well. And that's also encouraging. That's very encouraging. So thank you guys for joining us, because it's very encouraging to keep these shows up. I mean, I'm having so much fun doing it and talking about it. I could talk about it forever.
He did. He
last
told
night we didn't even plan on it. We ended up on the phone about over 2 hours talking.
2 hours at least, yeah.
Just bouncing ideas back and forth, and it's really fun. This is fun, and it's really appreciated that you guys are joining us.
Right, and I just want to point out something you told me, that when we went live last Monday, you made the comment how happy you were, to be able to do that and to talk about it and share what you know. And I'm like, I'm happy too, but it means a lot.
I had a very zen day that day. I had this calm about me just because I was able to talk about this, publicly, because that really bothers me. Keeping something. I'm not good with secrets. I'm not good with keeping information to myself, and it's something, especially this. This is one of those things that I just want to share with the entire world, and I'm excited to do that. And it makes me even more excited when people are open to listen to it. So, shyness, forget it. We're it's definitely worth the shyness, and I think we got pretty comfortable doing it right away too. So
Zabina says Sabrina. I keep saying that. She talks a lot about it, so that's cool. Yeah, nice. And here's Amy. We have Amy with us. Hey, Amy.
Amy, I love your profile picture.
Good to see her.
I love that profile picture. That's got to be necessity there.
Yeah.
Front. It's obviously necessity in front, and the back something else, but.
Right.
See necessity green there. That's an awesome picture.
And let's see. One more question from Rebecca. She says, okay, morning or evening. I'm not sure if she's still talking to me about the long box cube or not. Not too sure. But it doesn't matter. If you are asking about the long box cube, it's morning and evening.
Yeah.
The either or, both. So let me see if there's any other questions that I don't want to miss anybody. If you have a definite question. And Kylie, she just mentioned this was back when we were looking at Nibiru pictures, and she said how massive it is.
Absolutely.
Crazy what it's doing to our weather. And yes, all of these planets are doing crazy stuff to our weather every day, somewhere around the world.
Yeah.
Between
and once you get to the point where you see this enough, and I was saying this in the last podcast, once you learn enough, and you'll start noticing the patterns, not just weather-wise. You'll see how we have really close passes, and then you'll hear reports of flooding. You'll hear reports of, softball-sized hail, especially necessity. Necessity comes with the rain bombs, But I think add to makes it really cold. But there's always will be some kind of effect on it weather-wise. Somebody. As I've had previous ones where one of the closest add to the moon passes I've seen, where I literally saw its craters by eye. That day it passed very close. I mean, insanely close. I don't think I've ever seen a close pass quite like that. You had earthquakes, major earthquake Not sure where it was. It wasn't in the United States, but there is a correlation there, guys. And if you pay attention to both our weather, re- again, not mainstream news because they will never tell you these things. And if they do, they'll spend maybe 5-10 seconds on it and kind of move on to the Kardashians or something stupid, you know. But if you search out this information, you will notice the correlation between these passings and our weather, our extreme weather.
That's so true. All right, you ready to go to
Yeah.
one of your next pictures? I'm
Yeah.
not even sure which one it is. I
I
remember.
have no
Oh
idea.
yeah,
No, hit
I
me.
do remember this one. Okay.
Okay, this is the one I really wanted to talk about. This
Okay.
is the one. Okay, this was early on for me. This was about maybe a year after I found Sam. Okay, this is the one. This was my aha moment right here. And I'll give you the story on this one.
Yeah.
I had already found Sam, and I knew the whole planet thing. Right. I was driving home from work. This was in New Mexico. This was actually in New Mexico. I forgot to tell you that. So I live
Okay.
in Utah now, but this was actually in New Mexico.
Okay.
We'll relabel that later, but this was
Yeah.
actually in New Mexico. Uh, as I was coming home, I saw something that caught my attention, and it was a shadow line that went from the east all the way to the west. On one side was in shadow, the other side was in sunlight. This was evening. This was at sunset, and I had to stop. I had to stop, and I sat there staring at this. This was very brief, very brief. Maybe 15-20 minutes before it was completely out of view. Um, I sat there in shock. I looked around me, and I still do this. I still do this. When I see a sighting, I look around me, see if somebody's looking. I'm hoping somebody else is looking, but never. Still, till to this day, nobody's seen it with me, and it's so disappointing.
Right.
But I saw this. I saw that this was creating that shadow line, because it was blocking the sun. So half of everything, because New Mexico, where I was at, was really flat, which was great for sky watching. If you could see, there's no mountain line there. That's why the view, you can tell it's not Utah because I have a lot of mountains on both sides, on the east, on the west here in Utah. Out in New Mexico, it was just big skies. So it's one of the reasons why it was really cool for sky watching. When I saw that shadow line and then I saw the line blocking the sun, that's when it hit me. These things are massive. And it took me a while. It took me a while. I stared at this picture for days, for weeks, just registering, just kind of, just it was still like registering in my mind how big this was. That's when I really hit me. This was my aha moment. I call this picture my aha moment because
Yeah.
up until then, I was looking for small stuff. I really didn't realize that when Sam said sky fillers, he meant exactly that.
I was going to
One of the coolest moments I've had. One of the coolest moments.
there. I forgot to
Yeah,
include
it
that
was
part.
definitely more than one. It was more than one planet.
Right.
But it was the biggest thing because it was Nibiru. I think Sam did say it was Nibiru. I mean, I think it's clearly Nibiru. But also remember, guys, this was probably 2017. Um, so they were a little bit more distant then. So they're a little closer now, and they've become a lot harder to capture in one frame. This is very rare,
Exactly.
especially now. It's really difficult to catch them all in one like this, in one shot like this. Seeing the planet lines, the planet curve lines is a little bit more difficult now because they're much closer. As they move away and pass Earth, we're gonna see a really cool show. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more obvious, and we won't have too much cloud cover. But I can't wait. Makes me a little nervous because I know if things do happen, it's going to be when they pass us. But it's going to be some pretty, stay tuned for that, guys. And pay attention to those guys because once they pass Earth, a lot is it's gonna be more visible. You know. That is a very cool shot as well.
That would be right. I can't imagine it being even more visible than it is. It's just
You could literally see the shadow, the line from Isatum and Nibiru on this one. You could see the curve line of Isatum.
yeah,
And
you really can.
the rest behind it. Like you could literally see literally the exact same picture right here. It's the same.
It really, yeah,
It's
yeah.
such a match right here.
See if I have any other. This one is so great too. It's a
Very,
little bit different from yours, but it's still so great of Isatum.
that is a cool shot.
Yeah,
It's a very
yeah.
cool
This is
that
Belgium.
curve line, those curve lines they don't like, guys. You don't have that is not a cloud. That is not no. That is
Right,
a
right,
curve line right there.
right.
Clouds will not do that. Clouds will not do that.
That was that same one.
That is so cool.
That might be it. I meant to. Here's one more. Let's look at this one. That's not quite as exciting. It shows me like a tiny little. I can barely see what I'm actually clicking on until I open it. So, all right. That was great though. Let's go back to our show. There. We're on 7, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. Next one is one that I took a few years ago, and it's already labeled. So I can't ask you what it is because it already says what it is. And somewhere I have the original, but I couldn't find it today as I'm short on time. But this is one I took down the street. I was just walking down the back alley here, and just snap a picture, nothing special. Well, I didn't think until I got home, and it looked just like this.
The dark side. This is a very clear dark side. See how what we're talking about, guys. The sunlight is coming from around it, from the other side of it. So it's between. So it's Earth, and then Atti's moon, and then the sun. So it's the other side of it would be illuminated, which is out of our view. But here you can see how it's illuminated. How it's illuminated around it. You can see the curve line, how it's shining around that curve line. That is a very cool picture. Plus,
yeah,
you also see the asteroids underneath it.
Yeah, that too. You're right. Right at the kind of like right above that light post. Looks like a light post.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, the shadow is just so perfect, and the shape is there, and we know by the location, because this is the location for Attu's moon, this upper left-hand vicinity. So when you know it's left of our sun, and by the size, the location and the size, color is really the last thing you're going to factor in, but location and size will tell you what it is.
What confused me a lot in the beginning, Rebecca, is the colors. I was trying to go by colors.
Yeah.
And I ended up very confused, and I had to stop doing that because they are the thing with these planets. The system is that they're the bigger planets of both. Okay, so we're the smaller solar system. They're the bigger one, right? Mm-hmm. Their planets are enormous, and also they orbit a lot more close to each other than we do. We are more spread out. The Nibiru system, the Imaru system is. Because they're so huge, they're a lot more huddled up together, and we have yet to understand, because it's really rare. It's really we would not have expected to see them so close together. But we're from what I understand from what Sam says, because they're so big, they have a smaller orbital rotation around their star. So the colors really blend in, and that really threw me off in the beginning until I stopped doing that, because I started doing that as a habit, just going with colors. I saw purple, saw red, and I assumed, but it doesn't go that way. It could be. I have seen Saturn look a little greenish. I have seen you'll see the blend of colors sometimes, and it's not always accurate. So it's always good to go better by location, by what's relevant, the what's relative to the sun, what the location
Right.
relative to the sun is always the
Right.
best.
I remember Sam telling me, I mean, I remember him telling me this, and it was kind of a game changer, really, when he explained to always judge by the location first in comparison with his drawings, So you start with the location. I know I say this often, and then after that, you narrow it down to what the clouds look like, what is textures and types of clouds it has, and then the color is the very last thing you factor in. But
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even. A lot of times it's not even accurate. The color, a lot of times
yeah, so you don't use, because
because you could
sometimes,
have them very close passes behind each other, and that light could really, because you have had to is a gas planet. So a lot of that is going to refract and blend in because it is gas. It's gas planet. So yeah, it's definitely, don't let that confuse you, because it drove me nuts for a few years that I kept doing that out of habit, and then eventually light bulb, and I just started judging things by you know their position relative to the sun.
right, yeah, I love this one too.
That
You
is a
see,
cool. That
the
is a cool.
white area has perfectly curved again, upper left of our side
Mhm.
again. I mean, it's just,
That is a
I know
cool
we say
shot,
it's like
and you see how it's distorting the sun as well.
yeah, you can really.
Anytime you see a funky sun like that, guys, you know something is going on.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's not in view. Sometimes it's because it's a little further. Sometimes you can't see it. And in this picture, it's pretty obvious, there. But at times, excuse me, you'll see them just blue, but you'll see the sun really misshapen, and something
Yeah.
is in front of it. Something is cutting into it, and a lot of times it's not even the sun, it's just refracted light from behind the sun. There's a really cool, and I should have sent it to you. There's a picture that it's not a real picture. It's a picture from space, and it's the sun looking weird. And I think um, Sam's old partner is the one that posted that picture, but I like to use it because it's a picture from space, and it's showing how difficult it is to see the planet sometimes. But regardless, it is misshaping the sun, and the only way that the sun could be misshapen or light blocked is that something's there, even if you're not seeing it, guys. Remember, space is very dark. Our line of sight isn't very long. It's like, have you ever seen a mountain range and you drive far enough, it disappears. Even if it's in the view, even if it's still there, you haven't gone up any hills or nothing. It's just that our view only goes so far. That's why people expect these planets to always be visible, but they're not. There's a lot of distance out there. Sometimes they're way up high and they're out of view. It doesn't take that. It doesn't take them to be that far to go out of view. We really have a very limited view. We also have the cone. We look out. Our out view is like a cone. You know,
Yeah.
judging from Earth, we're round. You have to keep that into consideration. We are we're having a view from a ball itself too. So you have to remember we're only seeing a very limited, view. And we also have, as Jillian was mentioning the other day, we have the fishbowl effect too. So it's really hard to judge distance. It's really hard to judge these things because we have a lot of things at play here. We have again our orbitation, our rotation. We have the fishbowl effect from our atmosphere. They have an atmosphere, so there's a lot of things at play here. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things at play.
It really is. It really is. There's a lot to this to get to the point to where you can tell what's what. So, all right.
So it is. I wondered in the beginning, why is it that somebody on one side of the planet could see something and I have clear skies? It's because of that cone view, that we have a very limited view of what we see. It could be very prevalent. I'm often jealous. Tony will post the coolest stuff, and every time that he posts something, I know that maybe a few days, maybe a week later, it'll show up in my site. I always have certain people that post stuff, and I pay attention after they post them, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm gonna get it next week. And sure enough, most times it does. Sometimes it doesn't, because again, this could be very random, but most times it does show up on my side, and it's because, you know, because of the rotation and our out view, of it too. So we don't have a view as you have to learn this from a different point of view than what we see on TV, because it is really everything we see on TV and movies is just so inaccurate, and it's also dramatized for entertainment. You got to think about that too.
Yeah. I I I haven't even had TV since 2014. Like I have a TV, I have a TV, but we don't have cable. We don't watch TV.
I keep Hulu. I keep Hulu, and I rerun probably the same shows, the same five shows. Right now, I'm stuck on living in Alaska. Life Below Zero. It's a very fun.
Right.
Sometimes up there from the Arctic, it's the greatest views of the planets too. It's like it is a cool. I love watching that show because they have such a great view of the planets up there too.
Oh boy. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I do see there are times on, because I watch shows on YouTube, like, reruns or whatever, but no, it was on TikTok. Actually, I saw somebody out on walking down the street, and there was Atu's moon. You could just see it perfectly, the asteroids, and so I spend more time watching the sky if I am watching, a show than I am watching the show.
Every time I watch TV, I have one eye on the show and then another eye on the skies.
Right. It's like that.
It's like that everywhere I go. Even when I'm watching TV, I have one eye on the sky and one eye on everything else. It's become like second nature,
Right. Right. Okay. Let's see where we are. Looks like, I believe this one's yours. Too bad they only show me like this. It's like this big, this picture.
A little thumbnail.
I'm like, that's so wrong. It could be bigger, y'all. Okay, wait here. This one's from Jesus.
Okay, this one, I like this picture, but it's not one of the most obvious, and that's why I put this one, because I feel it's a very good teaching picture. This was also midday, maybe 2 in the afternoon, and this cluster here, I keep pointing at it. It was clear skies basically everywhere. The only place you're gonna see clouds was in this, what's in frame. Also, I couldn't get this picture all in one shot. I had it. This was actually a panoramic shot. That was the only way I can get this shot. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I took about 5 shots overlapping each other.
Yeah.
And I used to do that. I used to take 5, 6, 7 shots and overlap them about 20%, and then I run them through an app, and then it would stitch it together and come up with the coolest pictures. This is one of them, but this isn't the most obvious one, guys. But I want you to focus. I want you to notice the middle of it, the darkness in the middle. All right. This is what I mean by it's not always that obvious all the time. Look at the sky in the middle, how dark it is compared to the left or compared to the right. You see that darkness a lot of times, and this is, again, a lot of people have the wrong idea about this. You're not going to see it, the way they show it in movies. This is what you're going to see. There is an enormous planet right here, right in the middle of the sky, in the middle of the day. That only I noticed. This was at a Walmart, a very, very busy Walmart. Nobody noticed this. I was out there taking pictures, and everybody was going about their business. The thing is that the camera catches that darkness more than our eyes do. But because I was already, at this time when I took this picture, I was getting a little better at it, and I was understanding what I was looking at, and I understood the whole concept of how they are between us and the sun. Therefore, we're only going to see their dark side, But this is a perfect example how you have to look at those dark sides first. If you look up at the sky and you notice that there's a shadow or something darker on one side than it is around the rest of the sky, If the
Yeah.
sky isn't all one color, it's darker in the middle somewhere. Pay attention. Pay attention because most likely something is about to happen. Something is about to pop into view. You know, always start with the dark sides, guys. Always start with the dark sides. That rule number one. Always start with the dark sides.
Right. I say it often too. Dark blue planet, light blue our sky. So, and you'll see like many shades of blue.
Yeah.
And I just realized I had made a mistake on the comparison part. So bear with me. I'm going to get pictures pulled up real quick so I can show you. Because what I'm seeing is, it looks like in the front there, a cubed craft, and it's right above our sun. When I first glanced at it, I was trying to hurry, but when I first glanced at it, I was thinking,
I never knew who or
right.
what
I don't
this one
think it
was.
is.
It's one of those pictures that I
Yeah.
took so long ago, and then it kind of just stayed in the back somewhere.
What I'm seeing is it looks like a cube. Do you see what looks like a cube in front?
Yeah, right. Right.
So give me a second. Let me add those pictures really quick to it, okay? And then you all can see, so you'll know. But yeah, I believe this is actually a cube and debris in front of Atu's moon.
That would make sense.
So
there is. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Give me one moment.
This is why you have that band. Okay, so you have the cube to the left, and then you have that band kind of running across it to the right. From my right. So you have the cube, and then you have the asteroids right behind it. Probably the side orb in there somewhere and that kind of stuff, but
yeah, you can tell there's something in there. Like, why would there be a dark circle?
And if notice that the cube, it goes. It's everything aligns with the darkness. Everything aligns with the dark area. If you look at that, all the clouds, what looks, some of it's clouds, but you have the cube, everything that's encased, in clouds, all of it aligns with the dark area. So that it's part of that it comes paired with the planet behind it. These things are connected magnetically. I don't know about the cube. That's its own entity, its own thing. But the asteroids behind it, they're connected magnetically, to Atu's moon, which is the dark area here.
And then when Sam told me, that the cubes are parking garages. Think about that. It's like, oh my word. Yeah, they're parking garages used to store and transport other types of alien crafts. Like the lander crafts that come down to Earth.
And pick up.
Rebecca said she can see it.
Yeah.
Good. Well, give me a moment. I'm almost got it done, guys. I just wanted you to see some comparisons so you could see, put it together. Plus, I have a drawing from Sam on one of these, so you can see that too. I was afraid I was going to make a mistake trying to hurry so much, So I did. Okay.
Yeah, this is a cool shot. I like how everything aligns perfectly well with the dark middle, the dark center
exactly.
of it. This one took me some time to kind of figure out what was going on.
Is this at sunrise or sunset?
This was this was in the afternoon, probably right at sunset, right before sunset. I would say 6-7 p.m.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I got it. I'm going to name it.
And it was clear sky, just this general area and a little bit around the sides was clouds, but the rest of it was just completely blue sky.
Just obvious.
Yeah, this was the only thing in there. And that's usually what gets my attention too. If you see one side is very busy and the rest of the sky is just blue, that's also a sign to pay attention that something could be happening,
Okay, let's see if my folder is there now. How about I'm gonna let it load for a second. We're gonna come back to this one because I've downloaded
Yeah.
it and
I mean, if you have anything to
I don't
add,
want to just keep people like lingering.
yeah. I mean,
I'll
if you have
check it
anything
one
to
more
add,
time.
but I think I got my point across on this one.
I do too.
But
I
I
do
mean, you could
too.
also, okay, do you want to point out how Sam's drawing? You'll see the cube, and then you'll see asteroids behind it. This is it. This is basically, you'll see the cube, and then you'll see the asteroids right behind it too. So just to point
Right.
that. But remember, guys, a lot of times it's just going to be a blue blob, as Sam was saying the other day. You'll just see a dark blue blob that's darker than the rest of the sky. All right, that is, pay attention because something's about to happen. It's about to get really cool. So
Right. And like you said, it gets cooler. The temperature drops dramatically.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to come back to this one in a moment. It's being a little difficult. Okay. So let's scan. Okay. We got 5. Okay. All right. Here's one I took. I remember this day really well because it was just really,
Hmm. That is the I that
yeah,
is. I have taken pictures very similar to this. This
very
is
much like
very,
that.
yeah,
Yeah. And every time, like when I see this effect, this is from Atu's moon.
yeah, yeah.
And when I see this effect, I see this drawing of
Mm.
Sam's like in my mind. It's like I'm filming his drawings in live action, like his drawings come to life basically.
And again, look at the darkness, guy. As I was saying earlier, how the sunlight will be brighter where it starts, and then as it bends around it, it gets darker because it can only reach so far. The light can only reach the light bends. Okay, I think I'd like to think everybody here kind of knows that. So light bends as it bends around that object. It can only reach so far. So it's brighter at the bottom where the light starts, and as it goes up, you see the darkness. You see it get darker and darker. This is obvious dark side. With light shining underneath it, cutting into the light. That is a very cool shot.
And you can see how, to the left of our sun, we're, upper left of our sun, Atu's moon, it kind of creates that same shape over and over again. Not
As
always the same clouds and colors, but the same shape.
It looks almost like suds from a beer or something. It has
Yeah.
this effect that looks kind of like suds in a glass. And then you see the mammatus clouds. When you see mammatus clouds, it's very close. And if you see purple lightning, which we've never seen before, before these planets came, Atu's in the mix, and it's pretty close. If you're seeing the purple lightning, again, the colors, forget about the colors, but it's the cloud effect, the mammatus cloud effect, and then you'll see this earlier in the day. You'll see this sud looking bunch of clouds. But if you see it dark, if it's a closer passing, you'll start seeing the mammatus clouds, and combined with that purple thunder, that purple lightning, which is very cool.
Right. Yeah. Pretty neat. And this is, you know, similar in that it's the same vicinity, and this is still left of our sun, and we can,
Again, repetitive.
yeah,
This is very similar, very
right.
similar to what we've been
It
showing.
is.
You see the
So,
darker in the middle. You see the lighter sky on the bottom, which is our skies. But
mhm.
that middle is always going to be darker. That darker blob that always, and you see the clouds, basically the clouds wrapping around it. That's the way I visualize it. Sometimes you'll see the clouds just wrap around it, even if you can't see because again, if there's not light, this one has a little bit of light, around it, but if it's not well illuminated, you will see the clouds around the planet, and it'll be very difficult to see the planet, but you will notice by the shape of the clouds just surrounding the planet, you know.
Right. I was going to say, Carol Ann. Hey, Carol Ann. She said, excellent explanation on explaining how the cloud of Atu's moon is bright at the beginning when it's closer, and then it is darker as it goes up the curve.
Yes, that's exactly. You're getting exactly what I was trying to explain. Yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
Good. Awesome. I think that was it on that, series. So now we're on 4. And I don't remember what it was. Let's see. Oh, this is one of yours, Jesus. You ready? Here we go.
Let's go. Oof, this was one of the. This was Mount Olympus here in Salt Lake. There was a crowd of kids, maybe 20, 30 kids while I took the shot. And again, I was in shock again, always disappointed. Not a single one was curious what I was taking pictures of. Nobody. They probably thought I was taking pictures of myself. But okay,
Right.
this is very rare to see this. This is a little difficult to see for beginners. Also have a video of this. This has a video on my reels. If you want to see the video, let's go to my reels, and it's there. It's probably the first reel I ever posted. This is one of those. This is a Saturn's moon, yellow moon. But okay, so let me explain. The sun was this was in the northwest. This was northwest at the time, and the sun was on the opposite side. This is very rare to get it illuminated like this, because it seemed on this picture to me that it was going a little bit past Earth. So we got that illumination from the sun. The sun was in the right location and shined right on it to give me this brief illumination, and it did not last long at all. This was maybe 15 minutes, and before you know it, it was out of view. It just moved so fast in our sky. But it was one of the coolest, one of the most obvious ones, with the naked eye, because a lot of times it's a little harder. Sometimes a lot of the pictures are a little bit more obvious once you tinker with the picture. This one, not a single thing. I did not do anything to it. It was just so obvious that I didn't edit this one whatsoever. It's exactly the way I took it. And even with my eyes, I saw it exactly as it is. It was a very cool shot, and it's one of those shots that gave me a little bit. I was a little nervous because I've never seen something this close, and just passing over. This is another one of those moments where I'm like, holy crap, this is really happening. Like, I think you have those thoughts throughout the years. That thought crosses my mind over and over again. It's always one of those things where the disbelief always comes and goes. As I was telling you last night, I can go a week with nothing happening in my skies, and then I'll just kind of,
yes.
And then when I see it again, it's always that same shock and awe. This picture is such a cool and perfect,
which is here.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Right. There's some more examples. Ice Adam's moon.
I was
going to say the reason I picked this drawing to go with it is because I darkened it, and what I'm seeing, I wish you could see my cursor. I really do, but I'm seeing a darker circle in front, and what I'm thinking is it's both. I think it's
both. I think Sam said it was both. Sam said it was both.
In front of the yellow moon.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Sam said it was cool. Because this was Nibiru first. I made a time lapse of what happened before this or during this. Okay, because this picture I took it with my phone, and at the same time I was running my time lapse camera. So I posted the time lapse of Nibiru first.
Yeah.
Huge Nibiru was taking up the entire frame. This whole mountain, all you could see was just a slight curve coming down the mountain. And it passed first, and then this came behind it. So it definitely was a Nibiru Saturn lead object scenario here.
There's another couple of examples.
You see
That's
that color? That color
elite
that
object.
kind of looks like a yellow reddish. That is a very perfect example of how the colors could blend in together. This
Right.
is kind of coming from Saturn's yellow moon and Saturn, so you have this reddish, yellowish kind of blending, kind of blending.
Here's another one that's kind of similar. I mean, it's the same vicinity.
Yeah. Cutting into the sun there.
Uh-huh. So
the dotted, which we know we believe is the Empire Orb.
Right.
No, I mean this dot only appeared in shots, from a certain time forward. Shots before that, and even sometimes you could take a shot and you won't see it there. Maybe when it's out making its rounds or whatever it does. But it's been very prevalent, and if you think about it, it's a perfect place to hide a ship that size. Would be right in front of the sun.
Right, because you can't see it just by looking at the sun.
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
see the black dot. So, all right.
But this appears in many pictures, many pictures.
I know.
I've taken in multiple different cameras. And again, sometimes it'll pop up, sometimes it won't. It's not always there. A lot of people say that it's just a camera thing, but I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I really think it's something. I really think that dot is there. It's a real thing. I don't think it's a camera malfunction, as some people say it is.
Right. Okay, let's see. Where was? Let me go back to that. I think that we're on 3 now. Number 3. Okay. Let's see. Checking the comments, making sure everybody's doing. Looks like everybody's visiting, so they're having a good time on there. So I can see a lot of interaction back and forth. So that's good to see. And we have 26 listeners at the moment, so couldn't ask for more.
Oh, they have stayed engaged. That's cool.
Yeah. Now on this photo, this is, like I said, I started running out of time and I was trying to hurry. So this is not pictures that I took. These are just some pictures that I thought were cool. So, but I love the.
See, there you go. That explained. Okay, my picture that I was saying about earlier about shadow line. That's pretty much what I was seeing right there.
Okay.
Half the sky was in shadow, and half of the half of the mountains and everything.
Right.
Half of the terrain was in shadow, and the other side was in light. I don't care what some people chalk this up to be. Oh, it's the cloud making the shadow. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely. If not, it would be all the clouds doing that. It's only half of it. So it's clear that something solid is blocking the sunlight.
Yeah, right. Here's another one. There it is again.
There it is. There's that shadow line again.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll only see, because of the distance, guys, you'll only see shadows, cast shadows, I have seen literally round shadows, not very common, but I have seen them a few times. Times that I've been up high enough here in Salt Lake. If you get up high enough, you go to Park City, the elevation is insane, and you get such a great view of of a lot of what's happening, that the eye can't really totally see. But yeah, a lot of times you'll just see cast shadows because they're a little bit more distant and they're not really in view, but you will see you will see their effect on the sunlight,
Right. For sure. Yeah. It was just those 3. Those 3 were the ones
very great example.
But yeah, I just love those when the sky is split like that with shadows.
Yeah.
And you can see what I noticed right away, especially on the Uri side, that striped effect and how well it matches Sam's drawing. I mean, it's super duper accurate, so And this was June of this year, and that drawing is at least a couple of years old, you know. So it's
That is very cool.
perfect.
Very cool.
I think that one slightly see stripes, and not so much on that one, vaguely, but that first one.
And also they call these when you see those lines, those what do they call them? Google calls them, what do they call? What is it? What
Didn't
is
it
it?
start with a V?
Jesus, I can't. It's gonna drive me nuts. As soon as we go offline, I'm gonna remember.
Right.
There's a certain name for. I almost had it. It's when you see the sun rays in all directions. They have a certain name for it.
Right.
But that's not what's happening. What's happening is just sunlight bending around the bottom of a planet and basically shooting up in a sun ray. I can't remember what they call it, but it drives me nuts because they always have this stupid explanation for it that makes absolutely no sense.
I was trying to look it up. I can't remember. I thought it started with a V, like V as in Victor.
You might be right. I might come back to it, but you'll see that.
Something rays.
Yeah,
I think this is it. Is that it? Is that right?
Yes, there you go.
Thanks, Carol. And
that's a mouth.
And Amy got it.
Crepuscular rays. Crepuscular. Okay, remember.
So it's not a V.
Not my first language. Okay, right. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And they say that's, they don't explain what's making that. Sometimes I think they say it's clouds, but it's just no, it's just light. And you could replicate this. I used to tinker a lot with the flashlight and a ball, just to kind of understand the effect that light has and how it bends. What I used to do is I would I'd go inside my room or even a closet or something. I'd turn off the light, get the flashlight, and just get a ball, and then kind of see what the sunlight does. And you could see this. You could see this. You could basically replicate these things with using a flashlight and a tennis ball or something, and then just turn off all the lights, and you'll see how light bends. And you'll also notice that if there's nothing there, like you can go outside and turn on a flashlight and shine it up at the sky. If there's nothing there, you won't see the light. The only time that you're gonna see that is something has to be there so it can refract off of it. Sunlight can pass right in front of you. You will not see it if it's not bouncing off of something, and it gives that prism effect.
Wow.
So it's, learn the light. I've always told people in my videos, study the light, because it's the light that shows us, that gives us these incredible shows.
Man, I'm just impressed. I mean, you really know so much about things like that, this, scientific aspect. And so I'm learning a lot just listening to you talk.
Well, it's just, I visualize it in my head, and I kind of work a lot by visualizing things in my head. And at one point, it's just, studying the light, the time lapse, as I was telling you last night. I can't wait till we can show the time lapses so I can explain and show people, because it's really what helped me learn so much, was those time lapses, because that sunlight has how it hits things, and the effects that it has are so cool, and when you see it fast forwarded, that way, and you see the colors going from purple to blue and dark blue and then dark, it's just so
even better.
Such a great learning tool.
That's, like we were talking last night, we both said the same thing right about the same time. It was the time-lapse videos that was like the biggest eye-opener for both of us. Yeah.
Because everything relatively moves really slow. And as I was saying, like, if you don't have the time, you're either going to get bored or you're going to run out of time, and you're going to have to go do what you got to do and, live life. I like when I see something and I don't have time to sit there, I'll just set my time-lapse camera. And I'll come back and I'll be all giddy and excited because I know I caught something. And I'm just waiting to see what it is. And then I'll tinker with it. And it's such a great learning tool, such a great learning tool.
I was going to say, Suzanne, she was just wanting to appreciate our explanations for what the heck's going on. Hey, Suzanne.
Nice, Suzanne.
Nice to see
Nice
you
to have
here.
you.
And then Carol Ann, she said she goes crazy with time lapse
Oh
videos.
yeah,
So
they get addictive. Be careful. They get very addictive.
I
I
know.
go nuts with them. I'll sit there. It takes me hours to when I post a time lapse video. You best believe it. I'll probably record it in the morning, and it'll take me all day just to kind of work it. Sit there hours, kind of tinkering with it, and
Yeah.
it's really cool to put it together. It's just such a
Right.
really cool thing to put together.
There's several channels on YouTube I've found over time where, like, I don't know, somebody has a rooftop cam, and they share their videos. And unfortunately, I mean, for them, they only get like 7 or 8 views. It's not very.
You used to share one on your on Nibiru Followers Anonymous from I don't know what the name was, but he had the coolest time lapses. Oh my god. I was always just waiting for him to post something because he had the
Right.
coolest time lapses. I mean his view wherever but I don't remember what the name was. I subscribed to it and I don't think he's even around because I don't know if his channel got blocked because what he was posting was insane. I mean it was freaking crazy stuff.
Wow.
Rotations and you could see the crepuscular rays basically under. There was one video that he posted where you could see it rotating. You could see the light underneath it, how it was bouncing off into this crepuscular rays.
Oh my gosh.
The
I
coolest thing.
wonder who it was.
I hate that I can't, and I've looked for him, but I just can't remember what his name is. But
Yeah.
a lot of these YouTube has a lot of the people that I used to follow, that I used to watch. A lot of them are gone. A lot of them are gone, or a lot of people have changed channels or changed their name. Um, it was cool to see Planet X Hunter join the live with you and Sam. I want to say if he's watching this, I wanted to say this. I feel like I learned with him because I was one of his subscribers when he
Yeah.
had maybe 20 subscribers. When he was still kind of learning what all this was, and I saw him evolve. I saw him go from seeing something from really seeing it, and his videos got so good and I love watching him. And in fact, even the music that he plays now, he only sticks with one song, but he used to use other songs in his videos, and I used to play him in my car when
Oh,
whenever
cool.
I'd go out to take pictures and something. I'd play some of his videos and just kind of psych myself up, and then
That's
go
cool.
take pictures of that. But I've been a loyal subscriber, Dave, from day one, man. I feel like we learned together. Great work. I still watch your channel. It's great stuff. Just want to say, and it'd be nice if you might come on with Sam or us sometime. But we are all really big fans. At Montana Skywatchers and the Beer Followers Anonymous, we all are big fans of your work. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, there's always been people sharing his, videos in my group. I mean, always. So
Great stuff.
he's
Great
got a
stuff.
lot of fans amongst
He's
us.
a real Skywatcher. The guy is hooked just the way we are.
Right.
And I think that's the best way to learn. Like you have to, if you really love it as much as, because every time I see him filming, I see his enthusiasm, and I love it. I just love how enthusiastic he is with all this. It's just he changed the name to Dave Hofman.
Yeah.
But great stuff, man. Great stuff. Just great, absolutely great stuff. And he's so enthusiastic as he was from day one. Like his enthusiasm has never gotten dull. It's always that same excitement that I think we all share that kind of excitement when we see things in the sky, when we wait for it and it comes and we take our cameras, and that excitement. That's why I love watching him, because that excitement is there, and his enthusiasm is just contagious.
I'm going to do my best to get him and Sam on together.
I would love that. I
That
would
would
love
be,
that. I would
yeah, that
love
would be
that.
great. So hopefully he'll agree to do that. I think he might. I think
He
he
might.
might.
He might. He might.
Yeah. So
Either way, I'll be watching his channel as long as he's on. I'll be watching him. You know.
same, same. Okay, so this one is ready. This is yours, Jesus.
Yeah. Okay.
That
This
was
is an
recent.
example of why I love sunrises. You know, you will see the illuminations very prevalent because this is probably about halfway through the illumination. Okay, and I'm using a wide angle lens here, and I want to explain to people how big things are. That little dot on the right, top right, that's our moon. Right, that's our moon. Everything to the left of that, everything. Well, you have the little where the sunlight is coming through. Okay, that's but everything you'll see the curve that starts there at the moon. All that is planet, all of it, and you see the sun coming up, and it starts shining from the bottom, and it starts illuminating it, and it is the coolest thing to see this at a sunrise. I am addicted to seeing this. It is so incredibly amazing to catch them this way in the morning at sunrise. It's so quiet. It's so you don't have traffic noise. You don't have too much sun, too much light pollution, and it's just the greatest events. This
Yeah.
one right here was one very exciting one. I actually was live on this. I believe I was you chimed in on this one while I was live, and then I posted. I took the video on my phone, and then later on I posted the time lapse because it was running while I was doing live. I was running live on my phone and then running my time lapse camera. And I was talking, I think, to you and a few other people while this was happening. But this was right by the airport, the Salt Lake City airport, and it was one of the coolest illuminations I've seen. I posted this. I'm sure you could see the. If you want to see the entire video, I posted this recently on a bunch of groups. It's on my. Most of my best work is in my reels, guys. So check out my reels. You'll see the entirety of this one, and it was very cool, very cool. Illuminations. Illuminations are my favorite ones. Those are that's what gets me. That out of everything that we take pictures of, illuminations. Those are the ones that really get me going.
Yeah, this is just what a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? It's pretty
Yeah,
recent.
yeah. This was
Yeah.
recent. This was recent.
Trying to, I'll find a few more that are similar. You know, this is similar because it's to the left of our sun. You know, and we know it's.
And this
Yeah.
is most likely also a sunrise right here. I don't know because I didn't take the picture, but that's most likely a sunrise because you always get that kind of dull blue. You know, you'll get that very dull blue as the sun is coming up. You'll get that dull blue, and it just starts brightening up as it goes, and you'll see the dark clouds around it. You know, and it'll just light up as the sun comes up, and it's so cool. Oh, that's another cool one.
Right.
That is so cool. That is so cool. I love
Let's
that.
see.
Very obvious how it goes darker at the top and
Yes.
brighter at the bottom. That is always a signature that you're not just seeing sky, guys. If it's darker and brighter, you know, if the sky is not one color, and even then sometimes, you know, maybe they're just a little distant, but if the sky is blended colors and darker in one area than it is on another area, it's chances are you're very cool stuff. You know?
Yeah. There it is again. And yeah, I got one more. Two more. Yeah. Because left of our sun is well, usually it's Atu's moon, Atu, Uri, but Atu's moon can shift to above our sun, but still that's the vicinity for those planets. And they stack, they're like one in front of another, in front of another. So
that's crazy.
yeah, isn't it?
The asteroids is angle.
Yeah.
You'll typically see them at an angle, and that's another indication that you're seeing something darting. Because again, from our view, you know, we're not going to see it unless it's entering our atmosphere or very close to our atmosphere. you're not going to see it, fly like you'll see, in movies, really fast. You'll see them moving pretty slow. You'll even, if you're not time lapsing it, you won't even notice that that's moving. But you'll always see it at an angle, and then you'll see a bunch of a little messy around it, which is other asteroid and other pieces of junk and
Right.
debris and stuff.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what I call a close pass, though. You know what I mean? It's like,
That was a very, very close pass.
right. That's what I would consider that when I would go on one of my posts about close passes because of
That is
how
very,
obvious it is in the dark, the dark blue, light blue factor, the curve factor.
Yeah.
So that's a good one, Jesus. Really.
That was a fun one. That was a fun one. That kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't expect this one at all.
You said this was sunrise. What time again was it?
This was around 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. ish.
And
probably a little prior because so the sun rises at exactly 7:30 most days. So it was around 7, because it starts out dark and then as it starts coming up. So it was just about 30 minutes prior to sunrise. So about 7 a.m.
Is this to the north?
This was to the north, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
What got my attention was how the sun was cut off. There was only light coming from that little area that's below the moon, and because it was night, it was dark, so I didn't notice, but I did notice that the sun was looking a little bit odd, and that's what got my attention. And I knew something was coming. And then I went offline of my job because I could just go on and offline. And then I took a break, and then I took this shot.
Wow.
I took the time lapse. This is a still shot from the time lapse.
I was going to say, how was the sky the rest of the day? Was it like a showstopper day, or did it
was, but I was at the end of my shift, so I slept. I went home after this, tinkered with it, and I don't know what happened the rest of the day because I work nights, and then especially on the weekends, and I went home and I went to sleep, and I was happy with what I had, so I didn't get too greedy to wait to see more. So I kind of went and tinkered with this, but I would imagine it was a pretty interesting day because there was more behind this for sure. There was more behind this.
Sure, obviously, I would imagine. Just seeing that right there would tell you it's probably going to, be one of them days.
It was insanely close. So, very, very close.
Right. That's cool. Okay. So on the last one, I just put together a few pictures. Like I said, I was quickly doing this last part, but this one is not mine. This was just a few days ago. I made this comparison, but it just really stood out to me. I loved it right away.
Nepacity sometimes is so close that if it wasn't for that bottom cloud that's wrapping around it, you wouldn't even realize that you're seeing the planet. This is one of those because Nepacity is one of the closest one. It looks the biggest, but as Sam was saying, you can't judge that because it's just closer. Its proximity is closer to us, so it looks bigger. But actually, Nepacity is smaller than Saturn.
Right.
I keep being reminded of that, and it's kind of hard because sometimes I forget because Saturn is so much bigger in his drawings. I have one of those.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And see how much bigger Saturn looks in the picture than.
It does.
This is an old drawing. This was from 21, which Sam was gracious enough to oblige at my request and send me one.
Are you serious? That's great.
Yeah. He was nice enough to send me that. And
I was like, how'd you? And you got a cap too. Good for you. Yes.
Yeah, that was
right. Your little treasures from Sam. That's nice.
He also sent me one of his gold cards. Have you seen his gold cards?
Yeah, I have that too.
I have one.
Yeah.
But yeah, always in his drawings because people are judged don't judge their size from his drawings because it's just Nepacity is one of the closest ones to us. So it looks huge, but it's actually smaller, one of the smaller ones from what I understand. But yeah, this is crazy.
Right.
Of that. This is why I think a lot of people miss it, because sometimes you would, if you didn't know any better, you thought you could think you're just looking at our sky, but there is a little bit of a different color here. If you look at it, it's a little bit different color, and it's obviously also refracting light. That whiteness that you see sometimes is light being reflected. It's light being reflected off of it.
Yeah. I was just going to show, this is one of Sam's drawings, and you can kind of look at the size of how he's drawn it. I mean, he's showing.
And also, the point of reference would be the sun on the other, on the other side of these planets, and
Yeah.
we're basically following the sun. We're behind the sun. As the sun darts through virgin space, we're following behind in a spiral, playing catch up.
Yeah, I think what captured my attention, well, it was the little vertical striped effects. And
Yes, yes.
I mean, it's like
Those
just
those little
like
those
the
little
drawing,
yes, those are always, and I see those over and over again.
which,
This picture right here, the Sam's drawing is that those little line things at the bottom. I've seen those a million times, a
yeah,
million times.
yeah, that, and that perfect curve
Yeah,
going
yeah.
across the sky. I mean, there's
But
no
also,
reason why this would happen otherwise.
yeah.
You
And
know.
also, you can tell that that's not our skies because that's not the color of our skies.
Uh-huh.
There's that milky white, which is from refracted light, which is it gets kind of white that way because you get like a purple white look to it because it's light reflecting
Right.
off of it.
Yeah, and this, speaking of the striped effect, here's a more dramatic
Yes, very. This
example.
is a much closer example right here.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've seen this personally a few times where it's been this dramatic. Not too often though, but I've had my turn to see things like this.
Jeez, that is cool. See, look at
Yeah,
how dark the blue is on that one, and that picture has clearly not been manipulated at all. It
yeah.
has not been. It is clear that I mean, look at the green on the trees. Obvious that it has not been enhanced in any way. Not that I have anything against enhancing, but you can see that that dark blue is wow. Compared to how bright the white is there. Wow,
Well, look
that's crazy.
down. Yeah, I was gonna say, look down the lower left. Kind of hard to see, but it
Yeah,
says
yeah.
our sky.
You could see a
You can see how
sliver.
light the blue is.
You could see a little sliver of our sky there.
Uh-huh. So it's like our sky and then the opacity, and it's a
It's crazy.
massively different color blues,
Very
and
similar
it's
to the
immediate.
crepuscular rays we were talking about earlier.
What
These
was that?
planets will have those, that stripe effect. It's kind of
Yes,
what it looks like. Those crepuscular rays, only it's light. It's not clouds like that. But
you're right.
that's very cool. That is
Because
absolutely insane right there. Wow.
a couple more. This is I.
That little stripe pattern at the bottom of it,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
as you see in Sam's drawing, exactly right.
You're right.
And we'll see this
Right.
over and over again, over and over again.
And this kind of gray blue color combo with the yellow orange is such a nepicity. Just point that out. I mean, not to go by color immediately, but yeah, you see stripes, gray, blue, yellow, orange.
Yeah, no,
You know,
Pessid is very photogenic, Sabrina.
I
You're right.
know, I
Beautiful.
know it.
They have
Yeah,
such a dramatic pictures that you can take with the Pessid. Just dramatic, very dramatic. Add two is beautiful, Esato beautiful, but Nepacity is so dramatic. The pictures is just so apocalyptic and just dramatic.
right. I'll throw this few more. These are a little bit on a different. But here, yeah, I have way more pictures of Nipicity than all the other pictures together,
See, okay,
probably.
let me make an example. This is what I meant about the last picture of mine that we were showing. You see the top of it is a little dark. This was most likely sunrise. This has to be sunrise. It really looks like
Wait,
sunrise.
this one here or
No, go back to
the one I was on? Okay.
yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
You could see the bottom as a light is coming up, but the top is still dark. That's because you have sunlight coming in between us and Nepacity, right? So we're here, Nepacity, and the sun is just squeezing through the middle, but it's still not enough because the sun is still below the horizon. From our point of view, it's still below the horizon. But as we rotate and we come into view, this this top darkness starts getting brighter and brighter. That's when you can see when you can start seeing the illuminations. But every time that you see that little sliver of light and it's really dark on top of that, you're really gonna know that something is there blocking light. And
Yeah.
it's a good time to pay attention and maybe start taking pictures.
There's a few more like that where it's, it just fills the whole sky.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And the darkness will completely block any sunlight. Clouds won't do that easily. And it has to be something very solid to completely block out the light. Remember, the sun is very, very bright, guys. Very, very bright. It's something has to be very wide and solid to actually block it completely that way, to make it completely black that way.
yeah.
That's very cool.
And we know regular clouds don't just go straight across the sky like this,
Exactly.
over and over.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense, but this does. See, here's that blue, gray, yellow, orange combination again.
And you'll also see that tilt.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to talk about this too. Recently, I had somebody argue with me about the tilt. I posted a video, I think 3 videos behind, of Nepacity leaving its trails, its long streaks, right? And you could see the tilt of it. And somebody was, from our point of view, and somebody was saying, how is it? Somebody was arguing with me, telling me he wanted to argue. I was trying to have a civil conversation, but I guess he just wanted to argue, and then he kind of just disappeared. But how does a round ball have a how can a round ball be tilted? First of all, we're not a perfect ball. Even Earth isn't a perfect ball. First of all, it looks like that from a distance, but once you get closer and closer, you notice that perfect circles. No, it's just our point of view. Most things in space are circular, but not a perfect circle. It's a lot of times it just looks at it. And also, what I was telling him, even if it was perfect, what's tilted is the poles. It's the poles that are tilted, not a circle. He's right. A perfect circle can't tilt, but it's the poles.
Yeah.
It's the poles that are going to tilt. This is why. And somebody else was saying, I think on your and Sam's podcast the other day about. No, somebody posted today, I think on Nibiru Followers Anonymous, about how if the pole shift wasn't real, if that wasn't going to happen, why is it that we've been seeing the sun come up in a different, more to the east or more to the west, a little bit more further than what it said? It's because we're all tipped. We're all tipped, and the closer some of these planets come, the more we tip. It's not necessarily that it's a pole shift happening. It's that we're tilted. We're our magnets, are now North Pole and South Pole are tipped over towards the bigger magnet, which goes for every planet in our solar system. As I was saying in the first podcast, Saturn's poles started having activity, started lighting up. We've never seen auroras on Saturn or on these planets until these planets came in. We've never seen activity on the poles like that. where you started having auroras and a lot of electrical activity on these poles of Saturn, and I think they even saw it on Mars. But anything with, anytime there's a bigger magnet, everything's gonna shift towards that bigger magnet, because
Yeah.
you got to think in terms of magnetism and electricity. If you have another big magnet in the mix, it's gonna affect everybody else's magnet, and it's this not just affects the planet in general, but it affects our moods. It affects it affects us in general in a lot of ways. Some people have aches and pains. Some people have back pain. I personally, I get deaf. I have really bad hearing, and I get earaches when on really close passes. That happens to me. So a lot of these discomforts are coming from all the extra magnetism and electricity and everything that's happening right now. So just
Right.
wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. Carol Ann mentioned that she didn't see. Let's see. I didn't see that our planets all tilted back when Nibiru first came in. So I didn't know
Yeah,
until
yeah.
Sam told us. So
Yeah, no, and we were saying this is why our moon phases have changed, because our tilt, our point of view of the moon. The moon is totally locked with Earth. So the minute we tilted, and you can see how the shadow of the moon, our phases are not what they used to be. And now you see the shadow of the moon on the bottom, sometimes on the top. It's the craziest. It's never the same place. The moon phases were very very basic and very reoccurring. And ever since we tilted, that shifted the shadow and the way the moon is illuminated. And it still happens. Sometimes it's normal. Sometimes I guess the planets are a little further where it's not affecting our poles as much, and you will see normal moon phases, but it's very rare now. Like our moon phases are completely gone. Like they non-existent anymore.
right. Yeah. Haven't you said that you've been watching the moon for a very long time?
Yeah, that's one of the
Yeah.
first things I noticed was the moon phase.
Really.
Yeah, yeah. The moon phases is sometimes the lack of even being able to see the moon. Like there was a time back in 2014, 2015, where I went a week without not seeing the moon in New Mexico. It was because we were tilted so much in the beginning, especially when they first came, that our view was just, it's not that the moon left, it was there. It was just, we were tilted such a way, I guess, that it was not in view. I remember driving for miles and trying to find the moon for a whole freaking week. I couldn't not find the moon. And I went up higher, I went down lower to see where it was, and I was not okay.
Right.
Like something is happening. And that's one of the things, because the moon is just such a common everyday thing in our lives. If something changes with the moon, this is how it drives me nuts, that nobody noticing nothing, because it is such a constant, the moon, in our lives. If something happens with the moon, how do you not notice that, even subconsciously? Because every day you see the moon, and then all of a sudden the moon shadow is different. I would expect somebody to at least say something or ask or something. But
No.
apparently nobody. It's been normalized, and again, the media has done very good job at normalizing a lot of the odd stuff that happens. But I do feel that people sense something is wrong.
People are definitely looking, like they notice something is different. I notice on TikTok people sharing videos, and they're talking about, like, look at this, but they don't know what's happening. But a lot of people are noticing something is strange.
Yeah.
I think that is why I'm getting, such an influx of new, I think once people see this information, it connects some dots and it makes sense to them, and they want to follow. And I think that's
Yeah,
why it's
because
really
people
picking
are
up.
people are searching for answers. People are searching for answers, even if
Yeah.
they don't consciously know it. There's something in them, because at first I didn't even know what it was. I just knew that something inside me felt like something was wrong, and I didn't know if it was. I didn't. It took me a while to really put a name to it. I just felt something was off. I remember staring up at the sky for 20, 30 minutes at a time, just sensing something was just, I don't know. It was the
Right.
weirdest feeling at first, and thankfully I found Sam because I was about to have a nervous breakdown, not knowing what it was. Because unlike you, you said you found Sam right away. Like it didn't take you that long. It took me
Right.
years. It took me at least 2 years to come across Sam.
Really.
I was confused for about 2 years, taking pictures of nothing without really understanding. But I knew something in the sky was different, and it was driving me insane. It was really driving me nuts.
Really.
So I really hope that if somebody's going through that, maybe they can see this, and maybe they could have that peace of mind to at least put a face to their to their doubts and their, whatever they're going through. Because I went through that, and I know a lot of people that went through it too. Jillian was another one that told me that she had a lot of anxiety, not knowing what was going on. And
Hmm.
a few of us, we all talked, we really got a lot of peace and calm once we understood what it was.
Right. Yeah, because I think for a lot of people, the idea of Planet X just doesn't add up. They're not getting their answers met with that idea, and that's you know
Well, they keep saying it's everybody's on their. We're waiting for it, and that when you see that it's coming, if you could run across anybody who says they're waiting for it, it's crap. It's disinformation because
yeah,
nobody's waiting for it. It's here, and
it's already here.
that is the biggest disinformation. Is telling people that it's incoming and that we're waiting for it. No, it's here. It's been here. You know, you just don't know what you're looking at, and
Yeah,
hopefully we're here to help you understand that because we want you on board. We would love for you to be on board with this because it's getting it's about that time people know. So hopefully this helps, guys.
I think so. I think so. I mean, because as time goes, especially hopefully by our next show, I'll have it set up to where we can do the videos, and from there, it's really going to take off, because, you know,
I have
based on
some
what we
pretty
both can see.
yeah, I have some very cool time
I know
lapses
you do.
of to
I can't
show.
wait.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to show them. There's one in particular that's really clear how the sun is really affecting the color. It starts out purple, and then as the sunlight comes up, you can just see it go darker, and then it goes to blue. So it has a really bright purple, and then it goes a little more like a pinkish, and then it goes down to blue, and then you can literally see as it starts getting dark, the top of it starts getting darker as the sunlight comes up higher, and
Yeah.
the sunlight can't wrap or can't bend around it so much. But very cool visuals to really help you guys understand what's happening because this took us a long time to learn, and I really hope that we can kind of we don't 6 years is a long time to learn what we learned.
Hmm.
Hopefully we can get people on board a little bit faster.
I think
This
so.
is one of those things that you have to nothing can substitute going out there and learning, but I do feel that we can skip a few steps and maybe get people on board just a little bit faster.
I do too. I mean, because we both have about 6 years of experience each,
Yeah.
and things that took us years to figure out. Like I was telling you last night, it's kind of nice that we can take that and neatly package it up and hand it to somebody and within minutes relay what took us years to just figure out from, hours and hours of watching videos.
So
Seriously.
I went through yesterday. I went through my pictures, and I was telling you I had to upgrade my memory. I
Okay.
used up 200 gigabytes of just pictures and videos.
Oh, man.
I think 1% is family and friends, and the rest is just pictures. So I had
Right.
to, I had to upgrade it to 2 terabytes. Hopefully that'll be good for a while, but it's a lot of stuff that we sifted through and tinkered with, and kind of it took a long time to understand. Do not underestimate how much work we put into these guys. We put in a lot of time. And again, I love doing it. It's not work, but it is time consuming. It is very much time consuming. I can't tell you how many times I have a pretty, I do my own thing now. I don't have a set schedule at work, but I used to. And I can't tell you how many times I went into work off of 3 or 4 hours of sleep just because I was working on a video or working on some pictures or something. So
Right.
I went to work on 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep just because I was working on this stuff. And hopefully you guys can get on board without having to do that. So
I was telling Alan today, I was like, I think I just need to get to where I sleep less because there's not enough time in the day for me. It's like I already go to bed at 3 in the morning and I get up at 8. I already don't sleep much already.
yeah,
But it's like I need more time in the day to accomplish what I'm wanting to do.
as I said, man, it would have been great if I could quit my job and do this 24/7. I would absolutely do it.
I mean it. I know. Look at this. I love this idea. The t-shirts.
that
I
would be.
actually, I mean, I've not talked about this to anybody, but I have a artist guy friend down the street that he's actually working on a design for me. I have a design. He's working on putting color to it,
Really.
and I mean, it's in motion. We'll say it's in motion, like a Nibiru Followers Anonymous design for a
Well,
T-shirt.
I would definitely buy one of those myself. I
Sweet,
mean, just
sweet, yeah. I want it to be really colorful, and but anyway, it's just a matter of financially, cause
yeah.
bringing that about, so
It's a process, and
uh,
it's a process, and then hopefully we can. Sam was saying last night it would be great to have a production team, so we we could make more.
yeah, I told him that. That's what I was telling you
We
last night.
could have a budget and maybe make more detailed and more higher quality stuff. I mean, we've done great. We're working off cell phones and really limited tools, and I still think we've
Right,
done great. But like I was telling you last night, if I had a bigger budget, I would go nuts on the cameras. Like I would just go crazy on the cameras and just
right.
I my work would improve so much. It would be a dream, but um, most importantly, it's just getting people on board. And because
Yeah,
I think we all feel very strongly about all this. It's important to get this out there. Very important. It's a human our human responsibility. That we have to each other. To be
yeah,
kind and informative and pass on this information because I think the biggest power that the powers that be have is knowledge. That's where their power doesn't even come from money. Their real power is knowledge. And that's what's been taken away from us. And I think enough is enough. You know, um, we
right.
have to stand up for what's right and kind of get this information out there because the world is not what they tell us it is, guys. It's not, and we're not just on a planet here that where nothing happens. I can't wrap my mind around the fact that people think that nothing happens outside of our atmosphere, but a lot is happening right now, guys. A lot is happening right now, and you have to get on board with this because we don't want to do it alone anymore. We want you guys here, and I'm
Right.
excited. I'm excited to. I've seen a few new members on Nibiru Followers Anonymous, and I've been seeing. I've had a little bit of an uptick on followers and people commenting that aren't related to groups, that are just random people. So I do feel this is coming. This is getting a little out there. My subscribers on YouTube grew like 50 plus just from the first one. So it's really nice to be able to see that people are responding to this. Even three lives, in. So yeah, very exciting time.
Yeah. Like I told you, I mean, I get a lot of, well, right now I have over 800 member requests on the Facebook group, and I just kind of trickle people in so I don't get slammed with a bunch of,
Yeah.
people are
Do you know what
brand
I
new.
do when I get friends requests? I get a lot of friend requests. After I post a video, I get crazy friend requests from a lot of weird accounts. But this is my rule. If it's
Yeah.
a very short and limited, if there's no family pictures, if there's no normal pictures of people being normal,
Right.
I don't. If it's just pictures of memes and only like 5 pictures of memes, no, you're gone, because
Yeah.
it's either a fake account, it's either a bot or a troll. So if I see family pictures, okay, you're in. I'll give you a chance and see where this goes. But be
Right.
careful with those weird accounts that have no content, no family pictures, no. Because come on, let's face it. I mean, we use Facebook for family. We use it for events that we do. So if you don't have normal everyday life in your profile when you friend request me, chances are I'm not going to accept the friend request, because
Same.
people can get those weird accounts could get pretty
Oh, they're
problematic.
out there.
Yeah, look
I
at what
know
happened.
you know.
Look at what happened to you. You lost a lot of your work. I'm not sure how that happened, but probably something like that. Somebody that wasn't supposed to be there, or. So yeah. There's a lot of people that don't really want this information out there. So don't underestimate how big this topic really is. Do not underestimate. This is a huge topic. This is the biggest, and I don't get tired of saying it. This is the biggest thing to happen in human history. At least in this cycle. So
Right.
don't
Right.
underestimate that they don't want this information out. So
It's really big. Like I mentioned that in one of my videos, where it's like, it's the biggest in our lifetime, if not ever. I mean, that's
we're the
how it
ones
is. There's nothing bigger.
we're the ones seeing it, guys. We're the ones that are gonna see this cycle. There's been 3,000 years in between the cycles, though. We are the ones that are at the front row seats of this cycle. So it's imperative that we all get on board with this, because if and when things do happen, people are going to be very confused, and that's what's going to create most of the chaos. And I think it's a time to be united, it's a time to be together, and it's a time to be informed. So
Right. I just appreciate you being a part of this. I really do. I'm glad. I think it's kind of like Sam kind of paired us up, but I mean, I'm glad he did, because it's just,
I think he did a great. I think he has a good sense of
yeah.
character.
Yeah, I know he's watching right now. So
Yeah, because
yeah.
we do. We've been at it from day one. Me and you, we've been at this from day one. We've been exchanging information and learning together and bouncing. I learned a lot. You helped me learn a lot of because you did a lot better with identifying them than I did. I think I'm barely getting to that point where I'm kind of getting them. But you did it a lot better than I did earlier on. So I would always, I had a picture before I put a name to it. I would, send it to you and be like, is this so and so, or what do you think? And sometimes you would be like, no, it's this, and you
Right.
just
I
kind of
don't
learn.
know. Yeah.
We kind of learn from each other, and I do think.
Cool.
I do think we made a good pairing when it comes to this. So
Yeah. I told Jesus last night we need to do live talks, even like slideshow presentation, live talks, and conferences, or I don't know. I mean,
that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
I know, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it?
Great.
So I'm open, but
Yeah.
we're starting here. We're starting on our little podcast.
Yeah.
So, well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up. I think Jesus is still going to go to work tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but I just
I have a
want
night
to,
ahead of me, so
Right. And I know we got started later and we took longer than we expected and wanted to, but that happens.
Yeah.
We get carried away and
A
get to
little bit
talking.
more punctual with the shows, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'm trying
the
to.
technical side of this is a little bit more complicated than Rebecca's handling most of the technical side of it.
Yeah.
So sure, all the technical side.
Right.
So bear with her, and we'll
it'll get smoother. It will get smoother. And forgot what I was going to say. What I was going to say was I'm trying to. I don't know if I feedback or what's happening. I can hear noises. Anyway, but it looks like we're going to try to do a show like around every Monday or Tuesday. And then I want to try to do a show every Saturday afternoon, and so I can catch United States and Europe for one show, So anyway, that's what we're talking about right now. Doing
sounds
two
like
shows a week.
popcorn popping in the background.
Huh?
Sounds like popcorn popping in the background.
Yeah, I don't know why that started just now all of a sudden. There's nothing else that should be interfering.
No. Well, at least it's at the end of the show and not. Yeah. Anyways.
Right. I'm gonna. It's only when I talk. It's like feedback.
I guess.
Anyway, at least, thank goodness it didn't
we're
start
at the
to
end
now.
of the show anyway, so.
Yeah. But we have a nice Facebook user who thanks. So I appreciate you all for watching.
Thank you for being here, guys.
Yeah, I just want to remind, the standard like, share, follow, subscribe, because it's help from you all that continue to cause this to share and spread to others.
Yeah, and the only way we're going to get this information out there, guys, is to, share it, word of mouth, pass it on. That's the only way we're going to get this out there.
Right.
So,
It is. And one last thing, I want to just remind people, and don't pay attention. I got two pictures, the same pictures as Sam down there, but I started a new fundraiser for Sam and his family for the holidays, and wish it wasn't doing that noise. But anyway, here's his P.O. box.
I can still hear you clearly. So
yeah, okay, good. But here's his P.O. box, and I'm going to fix the collage here, and I'll get the pictures straightened out next time. But anyway, he, of course, you can send him mail. Cards are great too. If you want to send him a nice card, I know he would be elated. I know it means so much to him to hear from us.
I know he loves Christmas cards. I have some ready for him.
Yeah. Awesome! Oh boy, you're ready.
I know. He and his kids love Christmas cards, so I'm gonna send him.
Yeah. So please remember.
I think there's more of a personal touch, a Christmas card with, maybe $20, whatever you can do. And I think last year I did like $15, $20, something, nothing, whatever you can, guys, everything is helpful to him.
It really makes it makes all the difference.
But
it just doesn't.
Even if you can't afford it, just send him a Christmas card and he'll be more than happy and appreciative just for that,
Yeah. And he always sends you a card back.
Yeah.
He'll send you a Christmas card back, and he'll send you like one of his business cards with it. I have 2 or 3 business cards he sent me, so I collect everything he sends me. I have it. So, but I just want to remind people to remember Sam, and we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing any of this or talking about this if it wasn't for him and everything that he's been through and done to make this possible. So, want everybody to know. And otherwise, where was I? That was late. Should have pulled that up a minute ago. But we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. You have anything else to say, Jesus?
Just want to thank everybody for being here. It's really, really appreciative. Just thank you guys. Thank you for for being kind. Enough to be here.
Right.
And even kinder for being encouraging and your nice comments and questions and all that. Your questions are welcome. You could always PM me anytime. If I don't get at you right away, I will eventually. I can talk about this forever. So I love talking about this, and if you have genuine interest in learning this, don't hesitate to ask questions.
Right.
I also post, my Facebook, my reels. That's really where I post most of my stuff. But I want to start posting more on my YouTube channel. That way we can kind of get the ball rolling here, and get this information out there as much as we
Yeah.
can. So, um, the name of mine is Nibiru is already here. Nibiru system is already here.
The Nibiru system. Isn't that first one that you? I was gonna say, wasn't? Is this it right here? Or what? Yeah, that was it.
Okay, it's gonna be is already here.
It's already here. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
I gotta write that down so I don't forget either.
yeah, yeah. So we'll start
Perfect.
posting more often there because it seems after we posted that first live, I got a few more subscribers. So that's good. Because
That's
it's so
really
fun
good.
for people on board. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all I say is good night, guys, and I was glad to be with you guys tonight.
Right. Okay. Well, same for me, you guys. I'll be connecting with you all on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok. I've been trying to answer all the comments that I see. So I'll continue to be doing that. And I'll plan on probably doing another show again. We'll have an open session this weekend. I think Jillian's going to be back again. Maybe Mystery Mark. I haven't, we'll clarify with that. But if you are interested and you want to, come on with us and talk about what you know and have discovered and just visit, I mean, you're more than welcome. Just let me know when I send the message out about it. Just let me know you want to be on the show. I got a lady over on TikTok named Shelly, and she's reached out to me and she wants to be on the show. And I'm like, well, hey, that's cool. I mean, Shelly on TikTok wants to come on. So, and she's super duper new, and she's obviously not shy. So, but she's, wanting to be a part of it. So it's fun. I'm having fun and I'm excited where this is headed.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
It is going big. It is. It's going big. So anyway, okay. Well, thanks, Jesus.
Thank you,
And
Rebecca.
good rest of your night.
We'll see you guys
And
next time.
good night, Sam. I know he's watching, and I'll talk to you soon. And that is all. So thanks, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end it now.
Good night, guys.
Bye bye, guys.